So who's with us tonight? Well, first of all, new player. But introduce yourself, Kyle. What's going on, my friend?
How's it going, bud? I play Dain, the human fighter. Uh, Kind of excited to start knocking down doors and do what we fighters do best.
That's right. Crash and bash, sword and board all the way. And then,
Gotta have it. Gotta have it.
gotta have it indeed. We got Rachel here as well. She's returning from last week's session that introduced her character, a fantastic champion, I believe. Fill us in, Rachel.
Um, well, I'm excited to be back. You can't get rid of me.
I
Um,
tried.
I'm excited to see where we're gonna go with where we left off last time.
Yes, you are. And again, she's a champion. She's second level, as everybody is. It's Pathfinder 2. Everybody has the same level. Progress as a group, and I like that about it. Farley Tell will probably be showing up late. That's Patrick, my good friend, who's been in playing this since the beginning when we played Fall of Plaguestone, Menace under Otari, and now Abomination Vaults. And alongside of him is a good friend of mine, Byron. Introduce yourself and your character who's been with us forever.
As everyone knows, I'm a cameo appearing character occasionally. My name's Byron, and I play the character Ramirez, a rogue.
Okay, we're going to pick up where we left off. We're going to bring characters back into the main storyline. Remember from the last episode, we introduced a new character, Elias. Young fellow who came into Otari and found work in the employ of Rin Savixi. We all remember Rin Savixi. From Rin's wonders in Otari, she hired both Elias, Lofter, and Farley Tell. Farley Tell was interesting because she hired him as well as the heroes of Otari, if you remember those, days prior to this. But I won't get into that. Needless to say, Rin did actually hire Elias and Lofter to go help Farley find his friends, his spellbook, which has gone missing, and also to investigate the Gauntlight because it's been mysteriously glowing late at night to those with keen eyesight. So they kind of have three missions in a way, Elias and Lofter. And they quickly made their way to the Gauntlight, only a few miles outside of Otari, and started exploring. Crashing through the main gate, it was barricaded, but someone had previously gone through here, which was mysterious. Somebody was ahead of them. Maybe it was the heroes. Maybe not. Hard to say. And when we last left off, Lofter, Elias, and Farley Tell had entered a chamber never entered previously so far. They pushed through the door. It was a rotted door, and it just collapsed on itself. It was dark. Darkness was setting in fact. It's no longer daylight now. We're in early evening at this point at the Gauntlight. They saw this mound of ceiling that had collapsed in on this chamber. And all of a sudden, as they drew closer and entered deeper into the chamber, suddenly a vortex of wispy shapes and the wind was blowing about. Debris was flying everywhere. They put their shields up to protect their faces. And they made out the shapes, the ghostly shapes, of what looked like kobolds. Something they've heard about in the past. Kobolds, kobold shapes. What is this about? And that's where we left off. But before we pick up with that, it's a quiet afternoon at the Rowdy Rockfish. Dain, you've only been here a few days. Long travel from the north. Perhaps you're going to make your way to Absalom, maybe not. But you have found yourself here at the small little town of Otari in the Rowdy Rockfish Inn. You've stayed here a couple nights. Good food. Fantastic. There's a nice little help wanted board where people are looking for things. You know, maybe some adventure can be found. Maybe not. But you've been here a while. While you're sitting here enjoying your ale, you notice a very good-looking, charismatic-looking individual dressed in chain armor walk through the entrance. It's hard to miss. Your eyes immediately lock on this person, a young man, and he enters in and grabs a table and does his own little thing. But you can't help but be drawn to him. Interesting. Who might that be, you start to think? You get the sense adventure might follow that individual. Later on, as you enjoy your meal and your drink, you look back over at that individual who's still there and has been joined by some of the Otari Guard. Now, the Otari Guard are easy to recognize here. You've spotted them pretty quick. Being a warrior of sorts, they wear a green and white tabard, and they seem to have taken interest and are in great conversation with this individual. This individual just seems to draw attention. Not sure why, but it's garnered your attention. Time passes. You enjoy your meal. Suddenly, you see that individual begin to leave, as well as one of the other Otari Guard members, after spending some time looking at the board where work is found by adventurers and those looking for work. You can't help but be drawn to follow them. Do you do so?
Yeah, Dain will take his mug with him as he follows, but leave it before the door.
You have to follow. You get the sense there's adventure there, but you keep a distance, not making yourself known, watching from the corner of your eye. And pretty much you follow them throughout the day, always keeping your distance. You notice that they have traveled all the way to the north end of town, in fact, entering some building. I can't really tell what it is. There's a sign out front. It looks like symbols of stars and a black background. A deck of cards is sprawled out. Looks like some kind of tarot reading or star reading type of place. You're not sure what this place is. Do you ask around about it?
Yeah, like I will try to find some people that know about it, try to nondescriptly, without raising too much suspicion, ask them if they've seen people come in and out of there, ask them what the building is meant to do, what the establishment's for, what they house there, what sort of services they do.
I want you to roll a flat d20. You could just use the dice tray at the bottom of the chat area, just the d20 flat roll, no modifiers, just roll it public. Boom, let's see what you get.
Nine.
Not being too casual, you bump into the shoulder of an elderly guy on the street there. What are you doing? Don't hurt me. You almost knock him over. And what do you say to him?
Apologies, old timer. I meant no offense. I didn't see you there. Thoughts were elsewhere.
He has a little cane next to him and he starts whirling it up in the air. You better watch it, you young feller.
You see, no, pipe down, settle down. There's no need for violence.
All right. And in conversation, he's actually kind of friendly after you get to know him a little bit. And he does reveal to you that this establishment is the establishment of one known as Rin Savixi, W-R-I-N. Yeah, she deals in oddities and magical items and things of that nature. She's well known to be a gossiper. And that's what you get from this elderly man that you bumped into. And he's actually friendly enough, you know, once you say, I'm sorry, and all that. But anyway. So yeah, that's what you found out from there. Later in the day, you do see one of the individuals you've been following around, not the one you were spotting, but one of the guards, the one that was with the individual. And he disappears off, probably heading up to the barracks, which is on the east side of your current position, Otari Barracks. And shortly after, he does come back. You also see, leaving this establishment together, you see the individual you've been following around also come out. They seem to have some type of intent in mind. Do you continue to follow them?
Oh, yes.
All right, you intend to follow them. That's fantastic. And the day goes on, and it's maybe an hour or two before sunset is about to hit. All right, it's getting dark, but you've been following these two individuals around. They've actually been joined by a third individual that you've never seen before, a very tall, elven individual. And again, they seem to be traveling about town with some type of intent. And as you spy them and follow them, eventually they start to leave town. They're heading off to the west, which is the Granary Road, towards the Druid Ring, as it's known. You could look at your map and see that little lake there. That's known as the Druid
Yes.
Circle. And they're following that road further. I assume that you're lingering behind. At any point you would like to interject yourself, please tell me. All right, I want you to make a stealth. Give me a stealth roll. This is a blind GM roll. You can make this a blind GM roll by going to your chat area. You'll see a drop-down memory, drop-down list where it says public roll, private roll, blind GM roll. Choose that, and then make the roll.
Okay.
And you, trying to be as stealthy as possible, begin following this group of travelers as they head off the west along the Granary Road.
And I will continue to give chase.
Ramirez,
Yes.
you're laying on your back. The ground is wet. There's still sunlight as your eyes begin to crack open. You don't know where you are, but you're surrounded by trees, wilderness. Suddenly you hear in the distance a howl. Ooh. Just faintly. What do you do?
I look side to side and I start to move my hands to touch myself to make sure I'm okay. And I'd like to look around and see what I see. I'm in a grove of trees, he said.
You're surrounded by trees. You see many pine trees. You don't recognize where you are, actually. It's just, you just wake up in this wooded area with darkness closing in. But there's still sunlight.
Well, I'm going to look around and see where the sunlight's coming from, the west, and head that direction.
You're going to head towards the sun?
Yes.
Okay. You get up and it's hard to see where the sun is. And the first thing that you notice immediately, as soon as you take your first step, is that you're covered in mud. You reach to your head and you wipe off your forehead and it's just covered on, caked on mud. You wipe it off. And you look at your hands and they're all cut up and it looks like you've been bleeding. I'm not sure what that's from. And then a glint, a flash from the ground catches your eye. You look down near your feet, 3 feet in front of you. You see what looks like a little broken bottle, glass.
Hmm.
Do you reach down and pick it up? Check it out? Poke it, kick it? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna move it with my foot.
All right, you reach out with your toes, and you kick it with your boot. And yes, that is a bottle. It looks like it must have been maybe 12 inches high, and it was a clear bottle. It's all cracked and it looks new. It doesn't look like it was old, but it's definitely cracked. Immediately, images start returning to you. The glass bottle. And then you remember this big face, this head, this huge nose that was peering at you. Why you seem to be encased in some type of bottle. How did I get here? What is this? What's going through your head now?
Flashbacks of the images I saw. And I'm trying to piece together what happened, and I can't do it. So I need to continue on heading west to find out where Farley Tell's at, because I don't remember what happened to him.
All right, you make your way west. Elias,
Yes.
you waiting patiently?
Yes.
I believe Lofter was at the head of the group, right? Lofter, then Farley, then you bringing up the rear. Was that the marching order? Where's my notes?
I believe it was, and Farley was the one holding the torch.
Excellent. You've entered this chamber. The door is collapsed from pushing it in. Can't be closed at this point, but you've entered the chamber. You are clicked on your token, the torch token. You'll be able to see what you see. In the center of the room, there was this pile of debris. As it drew closer to this pile of debris, Lofter in the lead, suddenly this vortex began whipping about and howling noises. You see the shapes of what looks like kobolds or some type of lizard creature within. There's a whole bunch of them. You could see the different shapes of the kobolds whipping about in this vortex of air. The dirt and debris is flying. You have your shield raised, protecting you from the flying debris. I need you to make a savings throw. A will savings throw. Make that, this can be public.
Okay.
And
I got a 25
okay.
in total.
Okay. Let me make a roll for Farley. And also for Lofter. Okay. Elias, as you sit there and you have the shield raised, protecting yourself from these images, these scenes, you hold your head up high, looking over at it. You look behind you and you see Farley. He looks like he's starting to cower. He has the flames and he's falling down to one knee and he starts whimpering to himself. You're not sure what's going on. He's frightened one. Lofter, of course. Well, actually, you're behind Farley Tell. Lofter's up ahead. But Lofter's okay. So yeah, Farley Tell is frightened. At this point, I need you to roll initiative. All right, I'm going to put the counters or the tokens on the map. Got Farley Tell. We've got Lofter. And we've got Elias. Put you on the map right there. I'm going to put Lofter up ahead. That look good?
Yeah, that looks fine.
And of course, you'll use perception as your default. Let's roll for everybody else. Okay, so there we go. And let's start this. Poor Farley Tell, without his spell book, without anything but a couple scrolls he got from Rin Savixi. And that's all he has at the moment. All right, first up, our charismatic champion. What do, Elias? You see this whirlwind. It's about 10 feet away from you. Farley Tell is cowering at the moment, but he's still got the torch raised above his head. You can still see what you see. What would you like to do? Your shield is raised. Your hand is at your sword.
Well, this swirling vortex seems very threatening. I will step forward to protect Farley, at least. So I'll move 10 feet forward. I can just move this right.
Hold on, I have to unpause the game. There, go ahead.
All right. And I'm going to swing at the vortex blindly. Is there any like notable, is it just like mushed into one image? Like, would I be able to pinpoint a target? Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, imagine in this 5 or 6 foot space, this like very miniature tornado. Okay, it's a vortex of wind just blowing and debris, and there's these shapes of about a half a dozen, looks like kobold creatures, ghostly type shapes. So imagine attacking this ghostly shape in this image. That's what you would be doing, correct? Is that what you want to do? You want to lash at it with your sword?
Yes, I do.
All right, you go for that. Make your first attack. This is public. Nice solid 23. Ooh, nice +7. Very nice. Your blade cuts through the air and you can see wisps pull away from the main shape, but it doesn't look like you've had any effect whatsoever on it with that attack. You have one more action.
I'll raise my shield.
Shield is raised. Do you have a macro for that? On your macro?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. And with that, we're going to go to the next. And that is the vortex of nastiness. It begins to move. It moves past you, Elias.
Ah,
Let me actually reveal it. There it is. I don't think you guys can see it. Now you can. It now. Yeah. It now has well, it's revealed on the map. You know where it is. And it moves past you. Now, I'm going to say that Lofter uses an attack of opportunity. He is a fighter to attack this thing as it moves past him. And I'm going to roll this with my own actual die. Okay. And again, you see the blade from Lofter come cutting through this shape and wisps pull away, but it doesn't seem to have an effect on it. And as it does, it begins to envelop the elf. Farley Tell, you can see the debris and the shapes. They look like they're biting down and clawing at Farley Tell, who at this point is screaming in terror. He's actually frightened too. Let me change Farley to frightened 2. He's not frightened 1. He's actually frightened 2. Left click that.
man, poor guy.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, you're not sure what is going on at this point. But Farley Tell, he's got to make a will save. So I'm going to let you roll that, Rachel. Go ahead and roll a d20 flat. I'll add the modifier for him.
Public?
Public. It's a will save. Yikes, what was that? I hear about 10 dice roll? Just attacked him brutally.
Can I use my reaction?
Yeah, what do you got?
I have liberating step.
Okay. Put that in the chat so I can see it.
Oh yeah, how do I put that in the chat again?
Usually you click
drag it?
On the symbol. Click on the symbol, not the name of it, but there should be a symbol to the left of it. Sometimes it turns into a dice, but usually you click that symbol and it'll put it right into the chat. There it is.
Ah, there it goes.
Trigger, an enemy damages, grabs, or grapples your ally, and both are within 15 feet. Yep, you qualify. You free an ally from restraint if the trigger was an ally taking damage, the ally gains resistance to all damage against the triggering damage equal to 2 plus your level, which is going to be a total of 4. So he has resistance 4. Okay. Okay. Let's see what he's at. Farley took a massive amount of damage. He's gripping his head. He's screaming. It's so loud. Probably drawing a lot of attention from somebody. Oh, wow. Interesting. All right. Farley. He stands up. All right. So that's one action. And he begins to stride towards the door. But then suddenly he stops. As if he was going to run out the door screaming. He stops, almost like to gain some semblance of himself back again. And he turns around. He's still in absolute fear at the moment. But he stops and he pauses and turns around and just stares at the vortex, like as if he's unsure of something. Lofter. Lofter says, "Oh, I've had enough of this." And he pulls back with his sword, and he's going to lay into this vortex of madness with his long sword. He launches into it. And the blade just cuts through the air like as if it has no effect. He does so again. Pitiful roll, actually. But yeah, and at this point, he's not sure what to do. He looks confused, and he takes a 5-foot step to pull closer. No. He's going to raise his shield, which is up already for some reason. All right, so he raises his shield with his third action, and he says to you, "Get behind it, on the other side, Elias." You hear the words of encouragement and the words of screaming coming from Farley, I should say, as he makes his way hesitatingly to escape out the portal with the torch in hand. What do you do?
He's going to move.
All right, you now have flanking position. I'll make this creature flat-footed. If it can be flat-footed.
All right, he's going to raise his sword and try attacking at it.
All right, go for it. Your sword clangs against the wall that you're adjacent to. It doesn't seem to be having an effect. All right, got one more action. What would you like to do?
He will raise his shield.
Shield is raised. You're still not sure what to do. And with that, the vortex, it begins to envelop you, Elias. You can feel it, and you start to shake and lose your balance, almost falling over. But just at the last second, it moves out of your position. And once again, you hear behind you the screams from Farley as these shapes begin to once again surround Farley and start clawing at him viciously. And he's screaming at this point in absolute terror. And I want you to make a d20 roll for him as he has to make a savings throw. Tell me what you get. Elias.
Oh, darn. I got an 8.
And with that,
I was just going to add that if Farley does take damage, Elias will attempt his liberating step because it's a new round.
Okay.
Again.
all right, do
I
that.
won't let you die.
Do that. He takes some damage. Do you want to
All
use
right,
it?
so yeah. Do you want me to repost it in the chat?
Yeah. So it's going to be 4 points less? Okay. All right. All right, yeah, he did take some damage there. Not much, but you helped him, and he is actually near death at this point. He's taken so much from this this crazy whirlwind. Let me actually put him here. And the vortex is adjacent. The vortex is actually in the same hex with him. Okay, you did your liberating step. You absorbed, you distracted, you took away some of the blows. You protected your friend Farley, the elf, from near certain death. Once again, he collapses down to his knees, and he begins to, his voice is getting weaker and weaker. And with that, we're going to go to Farley Tell. He's going to move out. He's going to stand up for one action, and then he's going to move 5, 10. As soon as he gets in the debris, he gets about this far, actually. But he's running away from this vortex, which, let me move back into that square is where it is. And he dives to the ground as if he's trying to hide from the creature that seems to be pursuing him at this point. And with that, we're going to go to Lofter. Lofter's not sure what to do right now. He looks a little bit confused. He doesn't understand what's happening, but he moves to protect his new friend right here with a stride action and raises his shield. We must protect the elf! And with that, it comes back around to you, Elias. You hear your new friend, Lofter, scream out some idea that we have to protect the elf. What do you do?
The square that Farley Tell is on, is that debris? Like,
That
is that difficult terrain?
It is. Yeah, every 5 feet it costs an extra 5. So if it's got any debris in it at all, it's going to cost an extra 5 feet. It's difficult.
Okay, that was pretty much the main question. Thank you. Elias moves over towards the debris, and I'm going to try to lay on hands with Farley Tell.
You can do that. It takes one action to do. You need to touch the target. Your hands become infused with positive energy, healing a living creature or damaging an undead creature with a touch. If you use lay on hands on a willing living target, you restore 6 hit points. If the target is one of your allies, which would be the case here, they also gain a +2 status bonus to armor class for 1 round. Wow. You want to do that?
Elias just screams out, "Don't die on me!
Oh,
We made promises!"
Help me. All right. Okay.
And then as my last action, I'll raise my shield.
All right. Very good. Let's give him +6 hit points. Okay. You can hover over his count token and see where he's at. Like it says he's injured and stuff, and it shows you a 6/16. Means he has 16 maximum hit points, and he's taken a... He's taken 6 so far. So he's at, gives you an idea of how many hit points he has. 10. All right, so that's it. Shield raised. The vortex, the howling vortex. Once again, it moves and passes through you, Elias. And I'm gonna put him right here in front of you, but he's actually in the hex with Farley Tell. And once again, it lays into him. I need you to make another flat D20 roll for him. This is his savings throw.
I got a 13. So far, that's been the best roll for him.
All right, and would you like to use your little step if you can still do it?
I can. It's a new round. Seems to only be attacking Farley, so raising my shield seems very pointless. So yeah, I'll just exhaust my reaction for this round to protect Farley.
And as you do so, it seems to be to no avail as the elf crumbles to the ground. Oh, and goes silent. This whirlwind of a vortex continuing to howl and blow over top of him. You see your friend has collapsed. trying to avoid the shapes as they come down and clawing and biting at him.
I let out a whimpering no. No!
You do. And let me see if I could mark him as dead. No, I
Oh,
can't.
no.
So he's going to have to make a death save. Flat check, dying 1. He fails. He's now at dying 2. And next up in the round is Lofter, who turns about and sees his friend within the vortex collapse to the ground, motionless except for the debris that flies about him in his robes, going up and down from the air, passing through his clothing. He's not sure what to do. We must get him. We must drag him out of here. Come, help me. And he reaches down to grab the elf, and with a heave, he pulls him up and begins to move back towards the door. Now I'm going to allow him to drag. The door is open. I'm going to allow him to move right outside the door. Let me open this door so you can still see. The torch, however, is lying on... I'm going to keep his token there just because he has the torch. But Farley Tell is not actually there. He's outside the room. And that's going to end Lofter's turn. And with that, we're going to come back around to you, Elias. As you see Lofter pull Farley Tell out of the vortex and out of the chamber. And they're currently right outside the opposite side of the portal. The torch is on the ground in front of you. Still lit.
I'm going to put my shield away so I have a free hand. Pick up the darn torch. And I am going to chase them, run after them out of the room and away from the creature. Elias knows when he's been beat. I don't know. I guess he'll go here, and he has the torch now. And that's my turn. Oh, I don't hear you.
Nope, I was muted. You've made it outside the chamber. I brought Farley Tell's token outside with you. You don't see the vortex following after you. There's no way to shut the door. It just basically collapsed, and there's nothing there at this point. Peeking into the room, you can still see it. It's in there. And your turn is done. But it doesn't seem to be pursuing. It seems to be remaining within the chamber and faintly starting to die down. Farley Tell's next. He has to make a death savings throw.
And wondering if I can use
He fails.
something.
Farley Tell is at dying 3. One more and he is dead. And it goes to Lofter. All right. I forgot he has a hero point. He's going to spend that to automatically stabilize. I forgot all about that. So now he has no hero points.
I think he'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I forgot about those hero points. Everybody starts the session with 1 hero point, so on your character sheets, go ahead and give yourself 1 hero point. Should already be done for you. But he's going to stabilize. It's a good thing I remembered that. And that'll remove his dying condition. He's still flat-footed and prone. and unconscious. And let me get rid of his frightened. All right, so we're going to say the combat has concluded. I'm going to take us out of the combat tracker. Because the vortex has basically dissipated, probably because you guys vacated the room with Farley Tell. Silence descends on the group. What would you like to do, Elias?
Elias is going to break the silence. Did you say that Farley was unconscious?
He is.
All right, well then Elias is going to turn to Lofter and say instead, "What was that?"
I didn't know what it was. Did you see the ghostly shapes? Look like kobolds.
They did. My swords just went right through it. I didn't even get them at all.
Useless. All useless. We gotta board this up. And he starts looking around at the debris, the door that had fallen in, and how we could possibly fix it. He begins to enter the chamber once again. Do you stop him? All right, you reach out and
I put my hand and I put it on his shoulder. No, friend. No.
You're not going in there. Yeah, you're right. Let's get away from here. I don't like this. Whatever that was, I don't want no part of it.
I agree. It is best not to return to that room. Elias is going to grab some debris, just a hefty handful, and just throw it at the door. If I could find two 2x4s and put an X over the door entryway.
All right, you and Lofter.
That would be best.
All right, you and Lofter agree that you should do something to kind of block this exit or entry or whatever it might be, keeping your eyes peeled in case the vortex decides to reemerge and attack once again as your friend Farley, unconscious, lies against some of the debris itself, totally unconscious. And as that is happening,
I'd also like to take a piece of chalk out and write "Beware" on the board.
okay,
Please.
in common, go ahead, make a note.
Yeah, in common.
If you want, you can use the writing tool and put down warning or something. You can write out warning next to that entry if you want.
Oh, no, he's not going to use his writing tool. That's saved for his own use. He's going to take the chalk. That could probably easily blow away.
Good catch. Good catch. And as this is happening, Dain, in the distance, it's getting dark now. As you travel closer and closer, you know where you're heading. You've heard rumor of a place called the Gauntlight. You've never actually been there, but you can see it off and in the distance. Let me bring you to the scene. Whoops, I'm bringing everybody to the scene. That's okay. That's okay. Dain, you see before you what looks like this 100-foot tall lighthouse suddenly begin to emerge, and it's surrounded all along its base by these fallen-in walls and buildings and structures. It's some kind of fortress, and it all sets within what is known as the Fog Fen. So you've heard. This is the Fog Fen. You have found yourself. You have followed these strange heroes, perhaps, to this location. You don't know exactly where they are. They disappeared into the place. As the darkness begins to set in, you start to contemplate, this adventuring isn't the best thing in the world. Maybe I better light a torch. And as you contemplate that, Ramirez, you've made your way to the edge of the forest. Darkness has set in. You see a path. You hear footsteps. Just distant, up ahead, to your right. Just out of distance. It seems to be fading from earshot. But you can see there's a definite path here You look over to the right in the direction of the path. Do you come out onto the path, or do you stay hiding and lurking on the edge where the trees and fallen logs and rocks are, where you can hide safely? You come out?
I'm gonna hide. No, I'm gonna hide.
Okay, go ahead and make a stealth check. Could be blind GM.
Okay.
You go ahead and do that. Dain, what's going through your mind right now as you look at this great tower that's piercing this night sky?
He's sort of taking it in, having not really seen anything else quite like it. He's trying to find his footing, trying to look around to see if there's any other landmarks that he might be able to navigate to or from should he need to back out and come back again.
And what is your posture? Do you have your shield at the ready? Do you have a shield? I'm not sure you
I do have a shield, but nobody has drawn his sword since it's gotten a little dark.
All right, so you are, we'll say you're using the defend exploration activity, which... What is your perception modifier, Dan? It's just your total modifier for perception.
It's +6.
+6, that's pretty good. As you sit there in the silence, a light breeze, there's a fog. A noise catches you to the right. You turn around abruptly, and there, in the shadows, you swear you see movement. Something is hiding in the trees. You're sure of it. What do you do?
Dane's gonna yell, "Anybody there? Come on out. If there's townsfolk or somebody's lost your way, don't be afraid. I won't hurt you."
Ramirez, you hunker down behind the tree even deeper as this voice comes towards you, calling out to you. Something has spotted you. What do you do?
I'm gonna roll a perception check, see who it is.
You want to try and find out if you recognize the person?
Yes.
Go ahead and make a blind perception check. More likely to be society, but we'll take this roll. You have absolutely no clue. You don't recognize the dress, or remember, it's very shadowy and it's in the distance. You can just make out the voice. You can see the silhouette of somebody. Something else catches your eye that you immediately recognize, and it gives you the shivers. There, further beyond the voice, is the Gauntlight. Somehow you have found yourself outside of the Gauntlight. The last you recall is, wait a minute. Farley was with me, Sigrid, Mariandel, Neb, and it all starts coming back to you. What happened? How did I get here? We were inside that one chamber. We found this secret portal, and I rushed off down those steps, just constant steps. And then you don't remember what happened. Everything went blank. Until eventually you woke up and you were in this glass jar, whatever that was about. But yeah, that's the Gauntlight. You recognize it. But more immediate to your attention is this voice. Dain, do you approach the shadowy area, or do you hold your ground?
I will approach.
You approach the voice, the shadowy character in the woods. He begins, you can hear the footsteps, Ramirez, getting closer and closer, maybe about 20 feet away and closing. 15 feet away. What do you do?
Pull my rapier.
Dain, you hear a weapon unsheath. Just faintly, but you can tell your warrior instinct sets off. That's a sword. What do you do?
Be a poor choice, friend. I mean no harm.
I cry out, "Who are you?"
You'll meet Dain, soldier of Lastwall. Here in these lands looking for work.
Who sent you here?
Followed 2 people along the road.
Who are you following?
Don't know, some charismatic looking fella.
Thank you.
Oh, priceless.
What are you doing here, following people?
It looked like they might have a venture afoot. Are you wounded?
Yes.
Well, come on out. Let's tend to that wound.
I stand on my feet and I walk out of the tree line toward Dain.
Okay. And describe yourself, Dain, as well. First of all, have you pulled out a torch at this point?
No, I have not, but I was about to, actually.
Okay. Let's see. Let's bring everybody back to this scene on the map here. Let me pause the game so you can't move. All right, Ramirez and Dain, you should see yourself not far from this set of ruins and doorway, maybe further away than this, maybe like about 40 feet away from you, Dain, is this set of doors to the north. But just to show you guys where approximately you are, that is what you see currently on the map, Ramirez and Dain. Do you see that?
My map's not loading right now, just letting you know.
How about you, Dain?
My map is loaded, yes.
All right, it should be all black. Let me give you some light from your torch. Boom.
Yeah, I see the map now.
Do you see it, Dain?
I do.
Okay. This is where you currently are. He's about 10 feet away from you, Dain, this hooded character at the edge of the forest, and he's made himself known. He has a weapon at his side. You have a torch and a sword, which you're armed with. I'll assume your shield is at the ready, but kind of strapped to your side. Unless you'd like to rearrange that.
That's fine.
All right, this is what you see.
Oh, come on. Let's get that wound tended to. How badly are you hurt?
I don't know. So, let me put my rapier away, and I sheathe my sword.
Dain will put away his, and you see a man, human, clearly human, probably about 6'2", tall, bulky. He's got blue eyes, got 2 different scars on his cheek, long blonde hair at this point. Tell me how you got wounded or how you got out here?
I was inside that tower, and I don't know how I got out here. But I seem to be covered in this mud.
You were inside the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He seems ever curious by that.
Everybody, and this includes Elias, everybody make a blind perception roll for me.
Did you say including or excluding?
Including Elias.
Okay. Darn.
Go ahead. Blind perception roll. Let's see what you get. And again, a lot of these perception rolls I keep secret and I don't tell you when they're being made, but since we're all learning and this is fun, I'm going to have you guys do this, even though it's blind, just so you know. Okay. I need a roll from Elias. Oh, no, I got a roll from Elias. Okay. Let's cut back to Elias. Elias, you've managed to put some warnings and symbols, and at least for your own notes and reference in the future, that don't go in here. Dangerous vortex. And perhaps you jot that down in your notes. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. However, during the little respite of the work and the silence, outside of hearing the the breathing of Farley Tell. He is still unconscious. You hear voices. Your keen sense to the south. You hear voices, just faintly, perhaps. You don't know. You don't recognize it. You can't recognize the words, but you hear the mumblings of some type of a voice in the distance coming from the south, from whence you came.
I immediately bring it to Lofter's attention. Did you hear that, Lofter? From the south.
Hear what? What?
Voices.
No, there's echoes in this place. I don't know what you're talking about, for sure. It's only us. I haven't seen anything outside of that crazy whirlwind of death in there. Let's tend to the elf. And he goes back to comforting his friend, thinking, oh, wait, we gotta wake him up. He's got scrolls. But,
all right, Elias will try to help Farley as much as he can. He doesn't have healer's tool. I don't have healer's tools or anything like that. But I would also like to try to refocus.
okay, you can do that. That'll take 10 minutes. You can refocus and gain your point back.
And Farley didn't have anything on him, right? Just those scrolls.
Nothing. He might as well have been totally naked. Just this naked elf walking around. He's got nothing.
We'll do whatever it takes to get that book back.
Yeah. Let's see. He starts looking through his backpacks. We gotta have something here to help him out. Let me check my backpack. He pulls it off and he's poking through it. And, damn it! I forgot to bring it. So, nope. He doesn't have it. All right, so count that skill out.
Ramirez pipes in. Who's hurt? Ask who's hurt.
All right, wait a minute, Ramirez. You're nowhere near
What was that
Elias.
noise? I thought I heard somebody again.
Hold on, Ramirez.
Very, very distant.
Very, very distant indeed. You guys are, Ramirez, you're the only person you see at the moment is this warrior type standing in front of the entrance that you remember now. This is where you first entered the Gauntlight fortress itself. This was the entrance. Remember, you were ambushed by those gremlin-like creatures. They were blue. You remember those now. But yeah, you're actually well distant from anyone else. Just this one individual is standing in front of you who's willing to tend to your wounds. I imagine he has a healer's kit. Let me check his sheet and see.
I do not.
He does not. Okay, forget that idea. All right. Let's go back to Dain. What are you guys doing at this point? You've approached the stranger, Dain. He's within arm's reach at this point. Do you still have your weapon drawn, Ramirez? This individual's being okay. All's good.
And minus sheath as well.
All right. So describe what you guys are doing at this point.
I'm cleaning myself off of this mud.
Dane's going to offer a hand in greeting.
And I'll take his hand and shake his hand.
So what are you doing out here?
I work for Ren.
Who?
Ren. And the city of Otari.
I have been in the city for the last couple of days.
Okay.
I never met this Ren, though.
Another time. Who are you here with?
Me?
You're by yourself?
Yep.
Who are those two people I hear up in the distance?
I don't know. And I don't know if those were the people I was following or...
Well, let's proceed, sir, and we'll see who we can find out.
After you, friend.
I start walking forward into the gate.
Dain will follow closely behind.
Let me put down another torch. Okay. Let me take these tokens off. Ramirez and Dain, you're at the front entrance there. You should be able to see a token there if you click on it. Let me make sure it's on. Can you see that torch?
Mhm.
Okay.
So we'll drag you up into that chamber. You're investigating through the doorway, correct?
Mhm.
All right. Now, Ramirez, you've been here before. You get the sense you have been here before. You recognize the whole area. And the first thing you notice is the portal itself. You distinctly remember a door that was here blocking entrance to this little chamber. It's no longer a door. You don't see any evidence of a door. What you do see, though, as you pass through the portal is what looks like what was a makeshift barricade. Broken tables and chairs, wood, bits of debris have been once piled here, but have since been pushed aside. Somebody worked their way into this chamber. It couldn't have been you, for sure. You would have remembered that.
Mhm.
But you, along with your newfound friend, have entered this chamber, passing the portal, and as you enter the center of the chamber, it all comes back to you once again. To the left, the bodies of the gremlins that you had quickly dispatched with your friends previously. You also see that mound of gray, smelly gunk, not sure what it was. Neb took a great interest in it, but stayed clear nonetheless. And immediately you remember, wait, my friend, up ahead, I remember a drawbridge. Yes.
Mhm.
And you begin to approach the opposite portal to the north. And there, as you peer out, you see this waterway, and over top of it is this drawbridge, some 10 feet wide. And you remember this, just faintly. There's chains rusted that are holding it and attaching it to the far side as if it lifted like a drawbridge, literally. And as Dain begins to step forward and pass through this portal, you remember. You grab at his chest. You grab at his chest and say, wait, my friend, I remember this. There was sabotage done to this. We can't cross this. It's dangerous. Do you remember that?
Mhm.
What do you do?
First of all, since the door's been open, I'm gonna look at the bridge again and see if I can check the bridge to make sure if it's still in the condition I remember it, or has it been improved since then or messed with.
Okay, so you're going to look pretty close at this and see what's going on. Give me a blind perception roll.
My character sheet went away.
Now, what I'm going to do up here to the north, I'm going to remove these tokens. Whoops, I don't want to put a light there. Let me get rid of that. And I'm going to delete these tokens. And I'm going to replace Elias and those with that light. So bear with me, Elias. It should be pretty dark. Let me turn that on. It should be on. Left Elias in the dark.
Okay, I see. Light now.
Elias, yeah, up there in the where I'm pinging,
Mm-hmm.
right there, you should see a torch. That's where you're at. That's you, and that's your light.
Okay.
I should point out that at this point you do see a beam of light begin to come through the portal to the south. You see it now, where the voices were heard. You're sure you heard voices, and you see light in the distance. What do you do?
I tell Lofter to stay and guard Farley. I have to investigate just to be sure. And I'm just going to leave the torch
Gotcha.
with Lofter.
Gotcha.
And I go to the edge of the light.
Are you going to hug the walls, stay to the shadows, or are you just going to walk straight ahead towards that light that you see in the distance? There's plenty of shadows to hide. If you'd like to make a stealth check, you can go ahead and do that, and it'll be a blind GM stealth check if you want to try and hide.
I don't think he would hide, and he wouldn't be back to the wall or, like crawling. He would just be casually walking.
All right, no stealth needed then. You begin to walk to the south until you eventually enter the shadowy part of the torchlight and then finally into the darkness. Up ahead, however, is another beam of light. You sense it's by its flickering that it too is some type of torch. You halt and pause, and you can definitely hear voices at this stage. Sounds like common. You're about...
Hello?
Okay. Ramirez, Dain, you hear a voice from the other side of the bridge. It says hello. What do you do?
I yell hello back and ask that they identify themselves.
Elisa's gonna respond casually, Sure, everyday voices in the shadowy, creepy distance. My friend just almost died. All right. My name's Elias. Who's there? State your intentions.
My intentions are peaceful. My name's Ramirez. I work for the city of Otari. Who do you work for?
He ignores that question and he says, "You work for the city. Please come. Come, we need help."
What
Who
sort
are
of
you?
trouble?
He
What do you
didn't
need
hear
help on?
you both talked at the same time. He didn't catch any of that. What?
What sort of trouble are you in?
My friend, he's been injured. Are any of you healers?
I'm a soldier, not a healer. I'm Dain.
Surely a soldier has some training in the medical field. Please come. We need all the help we can get.
We shall go look at your friend, but I don't make any guarantees.
I can't really make any promises till I see him in person.
I understand. I have another friend named Lofter. Please come. Can they easily get to me?
They would have to walk across the bridge or somehow have to get across somehow. What do you guys do, Ramirez, Dain?
If I remember correctly, we can go across the bridge one at a time. But I rolled a perception check to see if it was been modified since the last time I crossed it.
It looks... your memory is it's not as sharp as it was, but you remember it being sabotaged. Whether or not how it's been sabotaged again and made worse, you can't be sure. But it does look fairly unstable. And if you remember how you originally got across, thanks to Neb, do you remember that?
Yeah, we used a rope,
Yeah.
and we used the rope to guide ourselves across the... I was one person at a time, I believe. So...
Well, however you want to get across is up to you. With Elias's help, I'm sure. You can figure something out.
Elias sees you guys looking at the bridge. I'm assuming he can see them.
Yeah, you can see each other. If you're making
All right.
yourself known, yeah, you can be seen. You're still in the
He
shadowy parts of the torchlight. But yeah.
You can just jump down and cross the river. You look to be of an able stature. Just jump the river and climb back up.
Dane's gonna look to Ramirez. I have rope.
Yeah. let's throw that person the rope and we'll cross the bridge. One at a time.
Are you good at catching over there?
Well, we can find out.
We're about to.
All right,
All right, throw me the rope. Throw me the rope.
All
He's
right.
gonna take the rope out of his backpack. He's gonna find something to attach it to. It's got a little bit of a weight to it. He's gonna try to chuck it across the bridge.
That grappling hook?
No, just the rope.
Okay. No problem. You could just chuck it. It's only like 15 plus feet. It's an easy little toss. It lands next to you, Elias. You could easily pick it up and help them cross if they want to do so. A good grip on it.
Yes, I pick it up and I'll attempt to aid them as they
Okay.
they cross this bridge.
No roll necessary. They both make it across one at a time, I believe. It's no problem. There's a little creak here and there, but otherwise, if you passed one at a time, which you did, no problem. And you reach the other side. Now, at this point, I'm going to remove this one torch, and you're all that one torch where Elias is. So let me get rid of that one. All right, so you should all be able to click on that one torch, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and you've gathered on the other side.
If you just follow me, it's right this way, and I lead them north.
Lead on.
Yeah, I should remind everybody that Elias doesn't actually have a torch.
I remember this area.
What do you remember of it?
We killed a giant maggot in here.
Giant maggot?
Mm-hmm.
Can't really say I've seen that before, but I've seen a lot of things.
The maggot
was-
sounds a lot better than what I just saw.
What'd you see?
I wouldn't even know where to start to describe it other than kobold tornado.
Dain bursts out laughing at that particular moment, just almost doubling over.
He looks at you with a serious face. This is what hurt my friend. Please, take this seriously.
You
We need to help him.
You mean to tell me that you got wiped out by a little band of kobolds?
If you would like, you can go in and see for yourself. We were never able to defeat the monster, or whatever it was. My blade just went right through it.
That's what blades do, and then they get bloody. And
Well, let's tend to your friend. We'll discuss the details later.
Elias points to the lit torch that Lofter's holding, and you see the two people, I assume.
Somebody mark off a torch. We're going to use one torch at this point, and I assume that'll be Dain.
okay,
So your torch is freshest, so we'll keep that going.
So do we put out the other torch then? Just
Yeah.
keep the one?
Yeah.
All right.
Save it.
So you've got one torch going, and that's yours, Dain. I'll tell you when that burns out. That's the only light you currently have. And as Elias gathers you here together in front of this portal, a mere 6-7 feet away, she cautions you, don't go in that chamber. That vortex of death was terrible. Look what it done to our friend. And she looks down at this elf. Ramirez, you recognize the elf as none other than Farley Tell, your former companion. Not sure what happened to him, but he looks terrible. He's unconscious and he's laying there, and this other human warrior is kind of crouched next to him, kind of tending to him. What do you do?
I kneel down next to him and I grab his hand and feel if there's a pulse.
You feel a pulse.
And
He's still alive.
I asked them what they did to him with suspicion, and at that moment I'll wait for their answer.
Elias is quick to respond. It's as I've said, we've done nothing. It was that kobold tornado. I tell you the truth. I've done everything I can to help him survive.
At this point, I slowly unwrap one of my bandages from my hands, my bloodied hand, and I reach into my coat and I pull out a healing potion.
Okay.
And I give the healing potion to Farley.
Let me put you on the map for a second. Let's go to your inventory. Oh, yes, you do. All right, mark off one of your healing potions.
Double?
No, it's just a 1d8.
Hmm.
Elias
Ramirez.
asks how Ramirez knows him.
All right, wait a
He
minute.
works for this.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me go to Farley Tell. You pour the potion down his throat gently. Begins to cough. His eyes begin to pop open. Oh. Is that you, Ramirez? It's you.
It is me.
And he reaches up to touch you on the shoulder. He recognizes you, and you've given him 3 hit points. You rolled a 3 on that. And of course, cross off that potion. It's no longer available.
Yes, it's. Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead. As he comes to.
What happened to you, Farley?
I'm not sure, my friend. I followed you down that secret chamber you went down. You remember the chamber, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I know exactly where it's at.
I tried to stop you, but it was like you were possessed. I remember that, and the steps went on and on and on and on. Just unexplainably long. And then I blacked out, and after that, I remember you were in front of this pedestal, the stone pedestal, working on dials that had letters and numbers. It was like some type of puzzle, and I couldn't understand what you were doing. It was like you were obsessed trying to solve a puzzle. You wouldn't listen, of course, but and then I don't know what happened. Everything went
No, it
black, and I awoke in Otari, covered in mud and blood. I have no idea how I got there, but I met these people, Elias. And we went back to Rin. Yes, Rin. We went back to Rin, and she was very concerned for us, and she hired these individuals to go back and help me find my spellbook, my equipment. Oh, and he begins to shake and hold his head. He
You
can't
lost
believe.
your spell book?
Yes,
You
it's
lost
gone.
your spell book?
All I have is these flimsy scrolls now. It's like, and he pulls out 2 scroll cases, each with, I guess, some type of magic contained within, and it says it's all I have.
I dismissed that, and I put his hand down. All right, get up. We need to find. We need to get out of here. Get you back to a. Yeah, I pull him up to his feet and straighten him up.
And while you do this, he looks very shaken. I mean, he's obviously no longer in terror over what happened earlier, but he seems to be obsessed with his spellbook. I mean, he's really concerned about that, and he says, "We can't go. We need to move forward and find the spellbook. I need to have my spellbook." And
We're not going anywhere until you're healed.
Okay. Would you like to make a medicine check? Treat wounds, DC 15, or you could try a DC 20 and heal more. But DC 15 is the standard DC. You could make that public. It's a medicine skill check. As long as you have healer's tools, I'll allow you to make this roll as you try to bandage him up and heal him.
Do you have healer's tools?
I might.
If you do decide to do this, let me know and I can attempt to aid you.
I gotta find my inventory. I believe I did have some.
There it is, healer's tools. It's in your backpack.
Yep.
All right, go ahead and make
And-
a medicine skill check. Either a DC 15, which is standard, or a DC 20. If you're an expert in medicine, you can attempt a DC 20.
I gotta find my skills.
You're trained, you're not expert. So you can only do the DC 15. All right, if you
Well,
want.
we can try. We can try that.
Okay, that'll give him some hit points back.
So roll a d20.
It's a medicine check. You're gonna actually
Okay.
use the skill. You have a +5
Okay.
on this roll, and it's a DC 15 unless I modify that.
Okay. Does his name Elias? He said he wants to help me with him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes, if you'd like me to help, I have 2 very capable hands.
Yes, you can assist.
All
And
right.
I make this comment. At least you're not the dwarf.
Elias has no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Who is this dwarf that you speak of? I take it he's not handy?
Farley's friend. He's an idiot.
You'll have to tell me more about him.
All right, you're gonna attempt the 8
He ends
action.
up killing people. He ends up killing people when he tries to heal them.
Yeah, he does.
Oh no. Oh no.
All right, I want you to make a medicine check. Elias, you're going to have a DC, which is typically 20, or it could be different, but I'm not going to tell you what that is. This is to see if and by how much you help Ramirez.
Is this you said a medicine check for me, and is this public or blind?
This is going to be public. Okay.
I rolled, but it was blind.
All right, I'll make them visible. We'll keep the rolls. You don't have to roll again.
Oh, nice.
Let me show everybody what Ramirez got. His roll. So if the DC was 15, you made it. In addition, you do get a +1 on that. So actually, Ramirez, you scored an 18 because of the aid of
Yay.
Elias. Okay, so
Excellent. I
as
look
you-
over to Elias and say thank you.
You're welcome. I'm always here to help.
all right, 2d8. 2d8 hit points are given back. So roll 2d8. 2d8, 7 points. Oh, my friend, thank you. And that you wrap the bandages around him, little gauze, and all these little things that come with the healer's kit come into play. And Farley Tell is feeling pretty good at this point. Thank you, my friend. I owe you.
We gotta go. We gotta get out of here.
We do. We need to get the spell book. And he begins to head
No.
off from the party to the north.
No.
Elias
Dain will
follows him.
follow.
No.
I must. Come. Ramirez, follow me. I know where to go. I know where my stuff is.
Where are we going?
Follow me. All right, now I need a marching order. And Lofter is going to go into the shadow mode at this point because we have our full allotment of players, so he's hovering around. But Farley is in the lead, followed by, who would like to go to?
I'll go right behind him.
Okay.
I guess I'll go behind Elias with the torch.
Okay. And Ramirez, you remain in the rear, or
All the time.
you don't really have a choice. And okay, I'm gonna put a Lofter right here. All right, and he begins to head to the north. He stops here for a second and pauses. There, my friend, I remember. That was where the what was it? The portal that people would travel between.
The last thing I remember is you were looking through that desk in that room. Straight ahead.
Yeah, I know, but remember that secret alcove to the left?
Yes. With a little closet?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, he identified that as some type of a magical portal. Literally, you can
Yes.
travel between them, but it was broken. Something was missing. He stops for a second and points that out once again to everyone in the group. And he begins to move forward.
Dain, just as a precaution while everybody's moving, Dain's going to pull his sword back out just to be at the ready.
All right. Do you want to use the defend exploration?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll do the same.
Oh,
All right, and you get to this door. Now, this door also looks like it's easy to push open, and Farley does not waste any time, and he pulls back and out of the way. Let me at this, and with a mighty kick of his leg, he keeps hitting at this rotten door, and it just won't come down.
Pull him back. Pull him back.
All right.
Maybe I should be the one doing the kicking.
No, no, stop. I need to look for traps. There's traps everywhere in this place.
Okay. All right, so you want to look for the traps? That is a
Yeah.
blind perception roll. Now remember, you do have, this is meta talk here. You do have the ability of detecting those things without even saying that your character's looking for them. I actually make a secret roll behind the screen here for you. If you ever come close to activating a trap, at that last second, you might spot it. So you always have that ability without even saying it. You've got that skill. But that said, if you want to actively look this door over, this portal, for any kind of mechanisms, wires, strange lifted plates that look unusual, you can do so with a blind perception roll. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. The door, in fact, does look very rotten and could easily fall apart if you push it open.
At this point, I just back away and I look at Dain. I said, "Be my guest."
All right. And Dane's going to try to give it a good kick.
I'm going to pull my rapier.
All right, weapons drawn, shields at the ready. Dain steps forward and easily pushes in the door, and it literally just falls apart off the hinges. And this is what
After
you
that,
see.
Dane's going to step slightly to the right and be like, "Who's first?"
Do you step into the portal? Farley Tell, without hesitation, moves forward beyond. Do you grab him?
Yes.
Or you hold him back? We must go in. This is where we were. The secret chamber. Ramirez.
I know, Farley.
Come on.
Chill, Farley. Chill, Farley.
Why
Let's
do
look
you
inside.
stop him?
Because there's things in this room that I don't want to encounter again. And you don't know what's been in this room since we've been here.
What was here last time?
Nothing out of the ordinary except that we got lost here, and this is the last memories I have of this place. So something happened to us in this room.
Which means we must be prepared for caution.
Yeah. I'll proceed inside. I'll change the order up and proceed inside slowly.
I'll follow behind Ramirez for tactical backup.
All right, let me adjust this.
I'm going
And
to sneak
I'll
inside.
be in the back.
I'm going to sneak inside. But I know I can't really sneak because there's a torch behind me.
All right, Dain, you're staying at the portal. Your shield and weapon at the ready. Ramirez, Dain, you walk into the room. Farley Tell enters the portal right next to Elias and stops and watches Ramirez go into the room, letting him do his work as he does. I'm going to bring your token onto the board, Ramirez, and put you right there in front of the portal. Dain, you're close by to Ramirez. Let me actually bring you on as well. Might as well. That's just about where you are. You pause for a second as you enter and you step onto the debris of this chamber. Ramirez. It's hard to see. The light is still behind you. You're at the edge of that 20-foot bright light zone. The rest is all shadowy.
I motion the rest of the party to come in with the torch.
Who has the torch? Was it you, Dain?
It was me, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You've got the torch. Let me light you up.
I mutter to myself, this place is cursed. Farley, find that book.
Now, what I'll do... Let me read the little flavor text here for you, just to remind you, Byron. The ceiling has collapsed in the southwest corner of this room, which is actually where you're standing at this moment. The walls bear several shelves, but the books and papers once kept here have rotted to ruin long ago, as has the desk and chair in the alcove over to your left. Now, if you remember, Ramirez and Farley Tell, you searched this chamber and you did find some elixirs, and you've added them to your inventories. Little things hidden in that desk compartment in particular.
Yes.
As far as you know, you've cleaned all that out. But however, to your right, Ramirez, You look and you see that the very secret door that you crossed previously is ajar. Do you move toward it?
No, don't go down that door.
All right. I'm going to move you forward. It's it's about 6 feet to the east. You do see it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I motioned to the party to come in, and I said, don't go near that door.
All right, Dain, I'm going to move you up because you have the torch. All right.
Dain's taking a very defensive stance as he sort of meanders about.
All right. The last thing you remember, you passed through that door, Ramirez, and Farley Tell as well. You all passed through that door. And we've gone through this before. I won't do it again, but there was a set of steps that just seemed to go on and on and on, and people blacked out, and there was puzzles, and the next thing you know, you're in glass bottles and so on and so forth. That all occurred after you crossed that portal that you're now staring at. Do you tell the other characters any of this information, Ramirez?
Yes, I relayed the story to them.
All right, so all you guys, that stuff you heard before, he relates that to you?
You've been through a lot.
Place is cursed.
I would say so. That's not Delhi.
Farley, did you find the book? It should be here.
He stops, he looks left, he looks right. Or chamber. We must go in. I think that's where it is.
No.
And he begins to move towards the door.
Oh, gosh.
Does anyone stop him?
I will.
Or you grab his shoulder right before he goes into the chamber. No, you can't stop me. I must go in. And he attempts to pull away. Let me roll for him. Are you going to restrain him?
Yes.
Yes.
I have combat grappler. Don't make me use it.
And he tries to pull away from your grasp, but he can't get away, Dain. You have a good grip on him.
Settle down now, friend. We'll help you.
You're not grappling him, but you got a good firm grip on his arm. He won't be able to go anywhere as long as you're there.
Elias insists that you tell us why we can't go right. Like why we can't go after the book. That's why he's here.
How did he get out of this chamber? And where did he meet you guys? It's the same way I probably don't remember how I got out of this building and woke up in a forest. And I relate to you guys what I remember what happened when we crossed that door.
How else are we supposed to retrieve his spellbook then?
Carefully.
If you have any questions about what might have happened to Ramirez or Farley Tell, this is for you, Elias and Dain. Just ask me and I'll fill you in. I went over this before, but if there's anything you missed or have a question on, I could fill you in.
Dane's gonna talk to Farley since he has him sort of restrained but not grappled. What was your original mission here?
Shortly after Ramirez and Farley Tell and some of the others, which he mentions the names of Barrick, the dwarf, who now should be at the Dawnflower Library, but there was also Neb, the goblin, and there was also Mary Andel, this strange, dark, magic-casting woman. Doesn't know much about her, actually, but she had magic capabilities. Sigrid from the north, the Saga lands, in fact, and with that lofter in the back near the portal, turns and looks and pays attention. We had come in here. We were hired to investigate the Gauntlight. A strange glow. Even I saw it with my keen elven eyes. It was a blue glow. It was eerie, but it was oh so faint. And Rin, she saw it, and she pointed it out to us. And it was quite concerning. And she hired us as the heroes of Otari. We did, after all, defeat a green dragon under the city. We went to investigate. And we came all the way into here. You followed the same path we did. We found a few things. We fought some dastardly gremlin-type creatures. Nasty and smelly creatures. But eventually we come here. Ramirez found this secret passageway. And he sauntered off, as he does, disappeared. I tried to stop him and reach to him, but we all followed after him. And that's when the mysteries happened. Blackness and the stairs, they just seemed to go on. And I found we were separated at one point. I woke up in a cell, and I don't know what became of that. The next thing I know, I'm in Otari, covered in blood. I don't know what happened to Ramirez or the others, as a matter of fact. And he goes on and on.
All I know is that we were sent here to investigate the light at the top of the tower. We don't need to be going down just yet. Now, I don't know where your book is, Farley, but it's probably long gone.
No, you can't say that. It's beyond that.
I
know it. He believes it's down that portal. But you're holding him back.
I don't want to go down there again. But we need to find out what was the light is at the top. That's what Ren wanted us to do from the beginning.
Seems I need to meet this Ren then.
Elias, what is your perception modifier?
+6.
As this conversation is going on, you notice to your left movement in the shadows. Within the room.
I'm
Something.
going to focus my attention on it.
Do you turn and face?
Yes.
As you do, listening in on your conversation, appearing out of nowhere from the debris in the shadows along the wall to the left, you see what looks like this 3-foot-high individual with a long nose and a pointed hat, and a wide-brimmed hat at that. And he seems to be leaning in, listening to your conversation, as if he's not paying any attention to you, Elias, and doesn't even notice that you're watching him. But you can see this little, almost gnomish-looking individual listening in.
How far is he from my position?
He's about maybe 10 feet to your left. Within the debris, whereas it's pretty much the only place you'd see any shadows at this point because of the torch, but within the debris and stuff where the ceiling had caved in, you see him clearly, kind of hiding in what shadow
I'm
there
going
is.
to step back. So like I'm kind of blocking the doorway.
Okay.
And I just say, I see you there. Show yourself.
Immediately, his face turns right to you. Everybody in the room turns to look towards Elias as you hear his voice ring out like this. And you look in the direction he is looking, and there, along the left side of the wall, behind you, you see this. He's about a 3-foot-high gnome, and he's got this big hat and earthy-looking type of guy, and he kind of stands upright, like as if he's surprised you've seen him. And then we're going to take a break. It's time for a break. So take about a 5 or 10 minute break, and then we'll find out what happens next. You guys having fun?
Mm-hmm.
I am. This is a lot more fun than I initially expected.
Awesome. That's what I love to hear.
I'm alive, so that's good.
That's all
I
you
mean,
care about.
I've still
And
got
Farley's
second,
alive.
I've still got second character sheet planned and ready, but
Never know.
You guys are not going to die. You guys are not going to die.
If I die, I'm beating a bard. I'm just saying. That's almost always my first choice. I love playing bards and druids. This is like the first time I don't have spells other than lay on hands. It's hard.
Curtis knows that if I die, I'm going to come back and haunt him, no matter what kind of GM powers he thinks he has.
Oh, is that what's going on in your mind? Ah, I get it now. Huh. How about that? Okay. I tell everybody if your character ever goes off the deep end and becomes evil to any degree, I take over your character. You're now mine. Thank you very much for the awesome NPC that will haunt the rest of your party and your new character. I enjoy that. I'm up for that. Bring it on, Myron. I'm going to show you guys what you actually see. I love this little picture. I had to use it. There he is. Of course, he's not playing his little musical instrument there and doesn't have a cricket friend, but there he is, and he's hiding there, maybe 6, 7, 10 feet away near the wall, amongst the debris, the logs, the fallen ceiling. He's hunkering there, and he stands at attention as he finds that I've been spotted. What do you do? Do you do anything in retaliation to this sudden?
What's your business here?
And he looks to you, Dain, and look, don't mind me. I'm just listening to your conversation. I mean no harm. And he goes,
Step out and drop any weapons you have.
Oh, I have no weapons, silly human. Wait, is that the elf Farleytell? I recognize you, I do. And he begins to step out of the debris, coming towards you. He starts to come towards you and stops just short. He's about 5 feet away from you now, Dain, to your left. Here you see this about 3 foot tall, gnomish individual. You recognize him as. And he wants to look past you. You, Farleytell, I recognize you. Ah, you got away, did you? I think you did. And then he stops abruptly and looks to you, Ramirez. And you. Ah, the hooded one. Yes, you as well. I sent you after the elf. You brought him back to me. Thank you. But Farleytell, you, who are these other friends you bring to sea with me? You guys say anything?
I'm Dain.
I'm just in awe that there's this small creature here who speaks common.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even say my name. I'm just like, what are you doing here?
I ask you, what are you doing here?
I'm here to get his spellbook back.
Oh, the elf spellbook, of course. He left his spellbook, he did, and his staff. And at this, Farleytell begins to turn, and he kind of pushes his way through you guys, and he's right in front of this gnome. I said, yes, I do recognize you. You're that strange one that was outside the cell. I don't remember anything more, but you were the one. You had me held hostage. And God, I'm role-playing with myself here. And he replies back to Farley, no, you weren't a prisoner. I was keeping you safe, and your book, and your staff, and all your other good things. I have them if you would like them. But first you must qualify. You must meet the agreement that we had, if you remember. Farley looks puzzled at that. Ramirez, what do you do at this point?
Yes, I'm here. I was talking. I didn't realize I was muted.
Make a blind perception roll at this point. There's something about this gnome, Ramirez, that rings a bell. You don't know what it is. Whether it's his voice or his mannerisms, his speech. There's something you that rings a bell, but you can't place it.
Well, that's actually what I'm feeling in real life. I've seen him before. I've talked to him before. I just can't remember where I've met him before.
And are you thinking this over in your head, or are you saying this out loud?
I'm thinking this in my head. And I interrupt the gnome, and I ask him very rudely and abruptly, "What are you talking about? That I got the elf for you?"
Before you say that, before you even mutter a word, the gnome looks to you and says, "Yes, Ramirez, you do remember me," as if he's reading your thoughts. And then I assume you say what you say.
Where do I remember you from?
We won't discuss that now. But you were to bring back the elf because he had wandered away, and you did, and I thank you for that. And there will be reward for you, of course. But first, the elf. Farley, why did you make your escape from me? And Farley looks confused. He's not sure. You were holding me a prisoner, I remember. What was I supposed to do? Now, more importantly, where is my things, my spell book, my staff? You said I had them. Yes, I have them safe for you, and you can have them back. But you remember our deal, our promise. You would find the Belcora. And his voice changes abruptly. And then he pauses and says, Belcora, I remember that voice. That was the voice, the evil whispers that came through my body. This is Farley Tell speaking. I remember that name, Belcora. And Belcora, she was the one that built this gauntlet. He turns to you, Elias, and Ramirez, Dain. Rin told us of Belcora. Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah. You would all know this. Belcora was the some type of evil spellcaster, perhaps. You're not sure about that, but she was pretty evil when she got outcasted from Absalom and built this tower here, this fortress. And it was the Rose Guard heroes that defeated her in a great battle here at the Gauntlight. And that's why there's ruins presently. It's from a great battle.
So this used to be a battle fortress?
This was a sturdy fortress, yes, and it protected the Gauntlight. But it's all crumbled in now, and it's fallen to ruin, as well as, a battle was fought here. And Dain, you could recognize that. You can see that there is marks of fire and flame on the walls, and part of the ceilings are fallen in because there was some type of battle that was waged here. Probably great magical power was exerted and brought down the destruction of this fortress. But not to touch the Gauntlight. The Gauntlight, as has been rumored, is relatively unscathed from any battle. It is, in fact, the tower, the 100-foot tall lighthouse that you saw as you approached the Gauntlight Island, as it were. It's what stands there erect, and there's no sign of decay on it whatsoever. It seems untouched by any battle. But anyway, he goes on to talk with Farley Tell, and you can all hear this little conversation. He doesn't try to hide any information. He says, you, Farley, you were supposed to find the Belcora for me, and then your stuff would be given us back to you. That was our deal. That was our promise. And Ramirez fetched you, and I thank you for that, Ramirez. I'm pleased. There will be reward for you as well. And he looks to you, Ramirez. Now, let us get to work. And he puts his hands together. His little fingers are going wildly back and forth. Come, you will follow me. And he steps between the group of you, and he starts to head towards that secret passage and begins to enter and disappear. Do you follow? He's right behind you, Ramirez. Dain, you could reach out and grab him at the last second. Do you do anything?
Dain's just kind of standing there in shock at the moment, like, what just happened? So no, he doesn't grab her.
He passes into the portal, out of sight. Ramirez, do you follow? Farley Tell begins to move towards the portal himself. Do not let the gnome out of his sight. He begins to move forward. Do you stop him?
Not this time.
Farley disappears into the darkness. Now, does anybody follow after Farley? Do you just stand there? Or, I know it's kind of confusing, for sure. Lofter is hanging back at the door. He said, what are we doing? This is madness. What do you do?
I think that gnome's lying. I don't
What do we
remember.
do about it then?
Once more into the breach, dear friends.
All right.
And lead.
Dain will move over and then go through the portal then, I guess.
All right, let's look at our map here. Let me close this picture. By the way, you can close that picture that I shared of the gnome at any time you wish. If you want to see it again, I can bring it up. All right, if you look at your map, that's basically the chamber you guys are in. And there's this little secret door in front of Farley Tell's token. And let me see, let me bring the torch token inside, because that's the main token we want to pay attention to. Just to give you a sense of where you think you are at the moment. Pay attention to the torch, not your tokens. Anyway, as you all follow behind and enter into this blackness, the torch, Dain, extinguishes. But instead of blackness, you're engulfed and enveloped into a bright light. All of you, as you pass into this portal, you're suddenly like as if passing through a door into a different room. It's fully lit. This chamber is about 50 feet around. You don't see evidence of any steps or stairs. It's as if you crossed into some type of other world. And it's fully lit. It's beautiful and it's decorated. There's plants along the sides and the walls. It's a round chamber, about 50 feet, made of stone and wood. The ceiling goes off and off and off out of sight. You can't see an end to the ceiling. And the gnome comes in. He turns and says, "Come, have a seat on the chairs." And suddenly you see appear before you, magically, these wooden, beautiful, ornately carved chairs. Boom, boom, boom. They all appear, enough for each of you to be seated. And he invites you to take a seat. Farley Tell remains standing and enters the center of the room with the chairs off to the left where you guys can see. Farley would be about maybe 10 feet away from you as you take the seats, and I assume you do. Do you?
Elias does, but he also asks, "Who did you say you were again?" He's in complete awe that these chairs just kind of came out of nowhere.
You can call me Ronaldo. Yes, you will call me Ronaldo. You can write that down. Ronaldo.
Now I remember him.
Again, do you say this out loud, or is this in your mind?
That was out loud.
Yes. Now, let's get to business, shall we? And he looks back to Farley Tell. Farley, these friends you bring, they will help you destroy Belcora, right? Farley looks over at the others. I don't know. Are you in with this? Are we going to destroy Belcora? And he looks to each of you. Ramirez, Elias, Dain, Lofter. How do you respond to that?
Well, it don't carry a long sword and a shield for nothing.
What kind of reward are you offering? Because I got to get out of here.
Elias?
He says, "Yeah, I've heard Belcor is evil, and we need less of that around here."
Right. Yeah, they're gonna join. So my spell book. And at this point, they have a little bit of side talk here and there, but the end of this is that suddenly appears a spell book and a staff. And obviously this is Farley's, and they just suddenly appear. You get the sense this gnome, he seems to be very powerful, but who's to say? That's the sense you get. He seems to be quite magical, making things appear, this kind of thing. As you sit here and watch and listen in on this conversation between him and the elf, and occasionally they break off into a language you don't understand. And again, you see appear the book and the staff and the backpack, all of Farley's stuff, and Farley just falls to his knees and he embraces the book and he's cradling it with such passion. Finally, thank you. Oh, praise be to the gods. And yeah, this is what transpires. At the end of this, they both, Farley and Ronaldo, they both turn and they look at you and say, now you must help the elf Farley to destroy Belcora. Yes, I will show you where to find that evil wretch. Mind you, be careful of yourself. She is responsible for the glow that you see, and I'm sure you do, because I see the glow. And he points, actually, in some direction. You have no sense of direction, but he's pointing in some direction where he says is the Gauntlight. Now, if you are ready, Ramirez, I will give you your prize. You brought back Farley. I thank you. And he snaps his fingers and then turns away from you, Ramirez, as if he did something. And now, I will see you off. I will show you where to find Belcora, and you will destroy Belcora, and all will be good in the universe. Now come, follow me. And he claps his hands, and he starts to walk towards the wall, really. Do you follow him?
Yeah, we'll follow.
As you do, suddenly his image disappears through the wall. You kind of hesitate a little bit. Say, what's going on here? Farley, step aside. And he steps through the wall as well. It's some kind of invisible portal. You follow suit, and sure enough, you feel an energy pass through your body from chest to the back of your back. You feel like an energy pass through you as if you had crossed some type of worldly portal. And before you know it, boom, once again, you appear back in the chamber. Not in the secret door this time. You're actually in the chamber where you were before. Let me get rid of these tokens. So make of that what you will, but you are back to where you were. If at any time you want to ask any questions, feel free. But at this stage, you are back in the chamber. You do not see the gnome, but you see Farley, and the rest of your companions have gathered now back into the chamber. With that, Farley, with a certain knowing and intent, turns to the south towards the portal you had passed through and begins to head towards the portal. Assuming you follow.
Dain will, yes.
Okay, we'll put you back in your marching order, and you follow through the portal that you entered. And again, Farley Tell is leading the way. He seems to know where he's going. If at any point you would like to hold back and say, whoop, wait a minute.
Elias is going to catch up to Dain and just be like, I can tell that you're kind of new to this too. Are you following at all? What do these two know that we don't?
I definitely know something that we don't know. If I would have to wager a guess. Which
Listen,
I'm not going to guess.
I didn't sign up for this quest, and I want to go back home. I don't want to deal with this.
Oh.
We need to regroup.
Too late to go back.
Farley needs to heal. We need to regroup. Farley has gotten his magic book, his spell book. We can go back and come back another time.
Is Farley still injured?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Significantly, or
Yes.
was I able to refocus?
Yes.
I'd like to use lay on hands.
Okay. Go
Heal
ahead.
him some 6 hit points there.
All right. Let me go to his character sheet. Did you roll it? Or no, it's a 6. It's fixed.
Yeah, it's just a couple seconds, and I just touch him, and you feel better, bud?
So you guys are basically just following along with this, like, what is
No.
happening?
I'm gonna move up and grab Farley before he reaches the portal and say, "What the hell's going on?"
Ramirez, don't you remember? And he kind of points towards the room that you came from. That's that Ronaldo. He's our friend. I know. I escaped, but that was different. Everything's good now. I understand. We must take on Belcora and finish this mission from Rin. Belcora lies beyond.
Are you fit to fight?
Of course I'm fit to fight. Together, we are fit to fight, and we will destroy Belcora. Be aware, when we cross this portal, be prepared to fight. And he stands in front of a door where you're currently located. This door does not look rotten. Looks pretty solid. As you look up, you can see the tower that is the Gauntlight. This is the base of the Gauntlight itself. If you cross this portal, you will be entering the Gauntlight. And you do in fact notice that the tower quite clearly looks like it was built just days ago. I wouldn't say it's pristine, but it looks totally undamaged compared to all the wreckage and ruin and battle around it. Interesting. Farley looks back at you all and says, "If you are ready, we will enter." And he goes to reach to the door.
Ramirez pulls his magical rapier and his lion face shield and readies himself. We'll go.
Dain whispers to Elias, "When battle is joined, protect the elf."
This elf's going to get us killed.
Elias has his equipment ready to. I could have used for another 10 minutes to refocus, but that's all right. Let's go. And he's all for it.
Dain has sword and shield ready. What's of you, Ramirez? Are you fit to fight? I found you in a pretty rough state.
Yeah, I was just cosmetic. I'm pretty fit.
All right.
I'll need some new clothes when we get back.
And a bath, I would wager.
Yes.
I wasn't going to say anything, but yes.
Dain chuckled.
He-
Well, I mean,
Dain might be onto something.
I mean, like, you could have jumped into the river back whenever we were crossing that bridge, and I
That
have
river-
soap with me.
That river is not clean water.
When Farley fell into it, yeah, he did kind of pick up a note or two.
So perhaps some fresher water then. More soap.
Yeah, I've got soap too.
Just imagine once this is over, you can go back to the, oh, what was it called? That inn? The bar?
Yeah. I usually don't hang out there, but I understand what you're saying.
A few drinks might be in order.
I'm sure they'll set up a tub of warm soapy water. Get yourself nice and clean.
Now that sounds good.
With a warm bed to boot.
Warm bed and a hot meal.
You guys sound like you're heading back to town. Are you going through the portal or are you going back to
Yeah,
town?
we better stop reminiscing or else we'll really turn back.
All right. This Farley reaches towards the door. It does not open. it looks like it has to be forced if you're going to get through that. So if somebody wants to force through the door, they can do so.
I'll give it a go.
This is not a rotten door. That would be an athletics check. This can be public.
I absolutely love how we were like, all right, let's go. We're ready. Let's do this. And he goes to open the door. And it's like, we'll have to force it.
Yeah. He's kind of just like, eh.
Did you roll it?
I clicked roll, but it's not doing anything.
Your shoulder lands heartily against the door. It's very stuck, but you can tell that it's also rotten. It seems like it's just swollen with moisture. It's really jammed. You could keep trying, but it's going to take time.
Elias is going to take a turn, see if he can open it.
Go for it, Elias.
You said athletics?
It's an athletics check.
Nope.
I'll give it another go.
All right, go for it. This will be the third try. The torch is starting to flicker. Go for it. It starts to give just a little bit, but I'll tell you one thing. It's pretty obvious at this point, Ramirez. If anything was on that other side, they're totally ready for us now. So if it's still stuck.
Elias, help me out here.
All right. If you give it one more shot, I'll try to aid you.
That's a
We
little
can do this together.
Yeah, you can both do it at the same time.
Ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, not my day. It's a
Wow.
bit of a shoulder issue.
Wow.
I think I got my shoulder clocked on the old iron handle that holds the gate. I think that's what it was.
This
Let me
never happens to me. It really doesn't.
Let me go over to the door. And I look at the hinges. I start feeling the hinge. And I notice that the hinge is swollen. And I take my dagger and I start pulling the hinge off the door.
You can't
Just pull the bolt out.
You can't get to the bolts. It's built into the door. There's no bolts or anything like that. But you do recognize that, yeah, this door has no lock or mechanism on it. There's nothing to pick. No way to open it except to force it. And you do recognize that it's really swollen tight.
Help us out here, Ramirez. Help us out. Maybe 3's better than 2.
How about Farley use some of his magic and kinetically move that door out of the way since he has his spellbook?
That works too.
He looks nervously at his spellbook and looks at you blankly. I don't have any spells.
What?
Well, I need to spend time. I need to sleep and refresh my mind.
Then why are we going through this door if you're not ready?
We have to destroy Belcora.
Oh, no. Ramirez has a good point here.
If you're not battle ready and you're not battle ready, then it's going to be
We're
3
not-
against 1.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
head
not
back
going.
to town.
Yeah, let's head back to town.
All right.
We've dreamt of that ale, that bath, and that bed.
Well,
Yeah,
let's go
maybe it
be
is a good
about it.
idea.
let's head back to town. We'll come back.
All right. So you're going to do that. I'd like everybody to make a blind perception roll.
Oh
well.
shit!
Again,
We
I'm-
done messed that one up.
just to see if you notice anything. Again, I normally don't tell you these things, but it's fun in this case. So I'm going to tell you.
I know what's there.
Dain, Ramirez, you both hear. It sounds like distant footsteps. You're not sure what direction, but you hear it for a brief moment. It dissipates, and then you hear it again, and it dissipates. There's some kind of footsteps going on. You can't tell what direction, but you definitely heard something. Feel free to
So probably
go ahead.
so probably the blue creatures we saw earlier.
Blue
I can't.
creatures.
Yeah, they're tiny. They're about maybe a meter, not even a meter high. They're tiny. They're like little goblins, blue goblins.
Is that cobalt tornado thingy?
No, they weren't cobalt. They were like little goblins.
If you saw
Well,
a cobalt tornado, you'd know it. Let me tell you.
oh,
All right. At this point, what are your intentions? Do you want to go all the way back, or do you want to camp in the woods? Do you
I think
want
our
to
intention is to withdraw back to town so we can prepare a spell book.
You want to go
yeah,
back? Want to go back to town and totally recoup?
yes.
All right. That's going to take a few hours of travel, assuming nothing happens along the way. Which I'll make a roll for. But yeah, you should make it back. It should be about late at that point, or thereabouts. And yeah, you'll be able to recoup. Go to your one of the taverns. Think about this. Make a plan for the morning, I guess. You'll be able to make some plans after this. So what's speed ahead? Let me make a roll. You make your way through the ruins and past the chamber where that vortex of death and doom once occurred. It seems to be okay so far, not a problem. You make your way across that little drawbridge one at a time again, using the same technique you used before. You do get the feeling of being watched. But nonetheless, you continue moving forward until you're eventually outside of the original chamber you entered from, where Dain and Ramirez met for the first time. You get outside there, no problems, and you begin to set off down the path together. And just as you begin to get into the shadow of the woods, well, it's shadow no matter what, it's darkness, you hear more of those footsteps. You hear shifting and moving coming from behind you near the tower that you had just exited. The tower being that entrance chamber, if you remember that first chamber you first entered. And then it goes quiet again. Doesn't seem to be following you, but you definitely notice something was watching you. Something is back there and awaiting you. Do you continue on down the path and moving away from the Gauntlight?
Yes, for now.
All right.
Yeah, I don't see a reason why we'd
Yeah.
turn back.
Okay, one more roll. Few hours pass. The nighttime proceeds. Nothing unusual happens. You get safely back to Otari, and it's getting late in the evening at this point when you arrive. A couple more hours, it'll be midnight. And you can gather yourselves together at one of the taverns, wherever you guys are typically staying. Dain, you're staying at the Rowdy Rockfish, as is Ramirez and his friend at Farley Tell. And Elias,
Elias is in the woods.
That's right. That's right. You camp in the woods. I'll assume you go back to the Rowdy Rockfish with these guys.
He will go to the Rowdy Rockfish, and he'll spend enough for a night there as well. He figured you might as well stick together with his new friends.
In that case, you're going to pay some room, and I'll get you that. I'll tell you what that is. Room and board for the evening.
Yep.
I'll make a note here. All right, you guys have gathered. There's a pretty decent sized crowd in here. There's about maybe 24 in here tonight. People are having meals. There's a lute player near the hearth that's playing a little bit of soft ambient sounds. You seem safe, seem sound. It's a little noisy, but you can talk amongst yourselves at a relatively large table, which you are currently all seated at. Drinks have been brought your way. You don't have to pay for this if you've already got room and board. Elias, I'll keep a note of that and deduct that from you as appropriate, since you don't have room and board yet. But you will, I'm sure. Go ahead, talk amongst yourselves. What would you like to do to prepare?
I'm gonna go home and sleep, take a bath, or take a bath and sleep. and I'll catch
Not
up
at
with
the
them
same time.
one before the other, and I'll catch up with them tomorrow.
Sounds like a good idea. I'll do the same.
A meal and a bath, then bed. This
All right.
wizard needs as much sleep as he can get.
All right. Do you have any coins, Elias, to take care of your upkeep?
I got that gold that I got paid up front for. How much is it? How much does it cost?
I think it's 4 a month, 4 gold a month. Do you have that?
Dain can cover his bill.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
he just wanted one night, but if they do down payments for a month only, he'll head out to the woods.
What? What?
He's there
do
to
that.
make some money, not lose some money.
You could do that. All right. All right.
There are plenty of barns nearby.
He's got a tent. There's a nice vast river outside the city walls.
That's clean that we can use soap in.
They dump the sewage in that river.
Nope,
They'll go,
Elias, we're gonna have to find
abo-
something else for that one. I'm sorry.
Anyway, I have a home in Otari, so y'all are
Oh.
welcome to hang out. We established that in Menace under Otari.
I think what happened was you were staying at girlfriends' houses here and there. That was it. All right, if you guys want to go back to your little places there and make plans in the morning, we can do that. Is that the plan?
Sounds good.
All
Sounds
right.
like a plan.
All right.
Yeah.
You all agree to go off your own ways, do your things, and meet in the morning. We'll talk about this in the morning, right? Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
We'll talk about tomorrow evening. Give us a full 24 hours to rest, recoup, do all those things, and Farley can get his spell book together because we're not leaving without his spells.
And we'll meet at the city entrance.
We can meet back here.
Oh, okay.
Back here or at your home, maybe.
Oh yeah. If he has one, still.
I do.
That's always a
Okay,
different
okay.
place. Every night's a different house.
First
Oh.
it's this one, then you go 3 doors down, then you go back up 5 doors, and you go back to the left 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of keys. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. All right, you guys can wake up the next day and gather once again. Unfortunately, you do not see Farley. You do not see Ramirez come back. They've mysteriously disappeared for some reason.
They must have been really tired.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things.
Either that or he's found some other form of entertainment.
Could be. No, Farley actually does. He's actually at the Rowdy Rockfish, but Ramirez is the one who bounces wherever he wishes. You know, he hasn't showed up yet. The next day arrives. You see Farley Tell gathered at the table, waiting for you guys to show up. He's fully rested, obviously. He's got all his pack ready, his staff at his side, as he sits there at this table. Come, my friends, come. Let us discuss our plans to attack. And you guys make your entrance. I assume you get seated as well, and you can make any plans you want at this point. So, what's your plan? What's going on?
Actually, Elias is going to look at Farley and say, you have your things back. Maybe it's time we give Rin a visit so you can pay her back, as we've promised. And this way, Dain can get some sort of introduction as what we're trying to do here. And so he can also kind of join in on that, the benefits, aka
Yes.
payment.
Because I've yet to meet this Ren.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That would be true. Yeah, you can go visit this Rin first if you'd like. That's not going to be an issue.
Does Farley have enough money to pay her back? He owed 8 gold.
He starts looking at us. Look at you. Oh. And he reaches down at his side. Yes. He's got this little pouch. I got coins. I can take care of myself. Don't worry.
All right, then maybe, yeah, let's go visit her then.
Yes, let's do that. And he
Lead
begins.
on.
And out you go. Now, let's see. Rowdy Rockfish is down here, number 17. You can make your way across the bridge on your map here. You'll see there's a big bridge there, and the Crow's Casks is located. Oh, sorry, the Crook's Nook is located there, right on the bridge. It's another tavern/inn. And you make your way across that big bridge. There's quite a few people out this morning. People are walking left and right and going on their way. Farmers are going off to work, that kind of thing. And you head north up that main road, up the center of Otari. And if you go to number 4, it's at the very top, the north end of town. It's called Rin's Wonders. If you click that, you can learn all about it. See a picture of Rin. She is, of course, an elven tiefling. You remember being here earlier, the day before, Dain. Of course, you were watching for these heroes. They obviously are heroes. You met them at the Gauntlight. And they lead you back to this place here where Rin Savixi, they call her, dwells and actually has a business, if you recall, Elias, selling magic items and things of that nature. You can see the big sign out front. This is the first time you've actually come this close to this building. Looks nice. It's a bit odd, but it's quite inviting. You catch glimpse out of the corner of your eye as you draw closer to the backyard. You see beautiful ornate stone walls, plants and shrubs, perfectly cut. It's beautiful back there. Hey, very nice. You go up to the main door here, and Barley Tell comes up to the door and, "Here, we will ring." And he opens the door just a little bit, moves it back and forth, and you can hear a little bell go ting, 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 ting up above. As he does so, he pushes the door open even further, and there, standing in the doorway, as the door becomes open, stands this tall Rin Savixi. She introduces herself. "My friends, welcome. You come back so soon. You've discovered the mystery of the Gauntlight, yes?"
We're getting closer.
Not quite.
"I don't recognize you." And she looks towards you, Dain. "Who might you be?"
Dain will offer a formal bow of his head. I'm Dain. I'm from up north. I bumped into these folk and a man called Ramirez on my road. I went to the God's Eye and we found this elven fella quite wounded.
"Ah, so you were a friend of them, I see. And you are helping them on this quest that I hired them for, correct?"
Yes, ma'am.
She draws closer to you, Dain. Her right arm comes up, and it starts to brush against your shoulder. And she pauses for a second towards mid-arm over your muscle, and you feel a warmth come into your body where she's touching you. And then she casually pulls away. I see. You are a warrior. That is good.
Yes, ma'am.
I extend my offer to you as well. You will come, and you will help my friends here on their quest to solve the mystery of the glow that is the Gauntlight. It can only be seen at night to those of keen eye, of course, but if you will help, I will offer you coin as well. They could use a strong arm.
I'm always looking for work.
And she goes over what that offer was. It was 5 gold pieces. 5 gold pieces to go in there, investigate the Gauntlight, find out what's causing the glow. It's kind of concerning. She makes that quite clear. And she's given half of that, 2 gold pieces and 10 silver pieces, or 2.5, sorry, 5 silver pieces to the party already. And you'll get the rest of it later on. She also offers you guys a discount, 10% off any magical wares she has, because she supports your cause. She hired you after all. to find out what's going on at the Gauntlight. And if you have any questions, Dain, about the Gauntlight, you can ask me. I know you're new here in Otari, but like I said, if you look at the map and click some of the locations, particularly the location of the Gauntlight itself, there's a nice little description there that is information you could learn by asking around anybody in town, like, oh yes, this is the rhyme that we all know, and this was the story of what happened. You know, you'd kind of know that as a player right now. I've gone over it, but yeah, your character
Yeah.
can find out stuff as you wish by clicking the map locations.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, just ask me. Or Elias.
Okay.
He knows quite a bit as well.
I think I'm good for now, but Dane will hear her deal and proposition, and then he will agree, and then
All right.
sort of fill her in a little bit more about what they, discovered, or at least what he saw about this little gnome
Yes,
individual.
who is Ronaldo? Does that name sound familiar to you, Rin?
You say the name Ronaldo. Never heard of him. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's a little gnome who's residing in the fortress beside the light. It seems to be very magical,
Okay.
and I don't know if we should trust him. I was hoping for your insight, but if you don't know anything,
All right.
we'll just have to be cautious.
Let's go to her character sheet and have a look. I have never heard of Ronaldo, but the gnome, you say, is interesting. What role did he play on your little encounter?
He returned the wizard's spellbook, staff, and equipment to him. We agreed to help him stop a Belcorian or some odd thing.
Belcora. She is the evil menace 500 years ago that was destroyed by the Rose Guard.
It sounds like he wants her destroyed too.
So either we're talking about two different people here, or she ain't dead.
Oh, it's quite true. If Belcora is still alive, we are in great danger indeed. How could that be? And she looks towards Farley Tell. You spoke of Belcora, did you? Yeah. I told you about that strange voice that was going through my body, that evil. Yes, Belcora. You remember that? She looks greatly concerned, Rin, that is, at this point that you bring this up. And now she's thinking about the gnome. The only thing she could think of is this creature. They're very fey. And fey, of course, come from the first world. They're a whole different being altogether. She says, be very cautious of any fey you come across. But she doesn't know who it is or what role he might play. But it's interesting that he says you need to destroy Belcora, for Belcora is supposed to be dead. She was destroyed. So she looks a bit puzzled and shares that with you.
One last thing, my lady. We seem to be stuck behind a gate. I was wondering if perhaps you had any magical item that might help us forcefully open said gate.
My shoulder is still sore.
Indeed, it looks like you got quite the bruise on it.
Yeah, she does have magical scrolls of sorts if you need something like that, a particular spell. Come to think of it, I think maybe even Farley might have something that would be of benefit.
Does she have a crowbar? For sale?
That would help, actually, if you had a
Yeah.
crowbar. You know, it could be that
Do you have
simple.
anything, a tool to wedge things open?
Or a big hammer, perhaps, to keep smacking
Maybe
at
we'll
it.
have to head back to town, pick something like that up.
All right.
A magical crowbar.
Yeah, magical +5 athletics checks.
Oh, that sounds nice. 10% discount, you said? Still 1,000 gold? Oh, okay.
She doesn't have anything like that. She has access to some scrolls and might have a spell of that sort on there, maybe. But I think the obvious choice, and she points this out, you just get yourself a hammer, a crowbar, just, that kind of thing. But she can go through her scrolls and see if she can find one of those knock spells or something to help you in that regard. If you want, you'll have to buy it. They're not
Dain
cheap.
would thank her for her troubles, but we'll get a crowbar.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out some other way.
All right.
And then we'll keep beating on Elias's shoulder until we either break it or break the door.
Mhm.
Elias is rubbing his shoulder. Okay. Whatever I gotta do.
That was a joke, friend. It's a joke. And my shoulder will be just as black and blue as yours.
Yep.
Elias laughs because he's like, yeah, this happened last time. If I'm going down, you're going down too.
You go on with me. Okay, so you have any more questions of Sven or anything like that? Or need anything else?
I do not.
Okay. What you could do now is probably if you want to buy any extra equipment, everything that's in the core rulebook as common items, you can buy here. There's plenty of locations where you can buy a crowbar, for instance. If it's in the book, you can add it to your repertoire of stuff, of items. Just deduct the coins, do a search for it under items on Foundry, and just drag it to your sheet, and you're all good. So if you want to do that now, do a little shopping, you can do that now in preparation. If you need any scrolls or healing potions, I think they're actually available as well. Herbalists and that kind of thing. I think the Dawnflower Library also has access to those. You could buy those, but they are quite expensive.
Yeah.
I'm buying a crowbar right now.
Yeah. You know what? Elias is also going to buy a crowbar.
There you go.
It doesn't hurt to have two.
All right, let's look for crowbar in the items directory. I hope one's in there. Crowbar. There's one. There's two of them, a levered and a normal crowbar.
Did?
Just drag that to your sheet and deduct it from your coins, whatever it costs. Double click it to see how much it cost.
I also bought a healer's tools.
There you
Oh,
go.
good. Definitely need that.
Yeah, now that Ramirez is near.
I think I got what I need. He's gonna look over to Elias. Got my healer's tools now.
Ah, good call. We'll definitely need those. I've got a crowbar.
So do I.
There you go.
Elias lifts up his crowbar as if to like clink it like glasses.
Indeed, and Dain will do the same.
Clink. All right. Does
Cheers.
this mean we're ready?
Ready as I ever was.
All right, let's head out.
Also, Elias, you would see he's wearing his livery over his chainmail. It's tattered and green, but you can clearly make out the last wall symbol on it.
Last Wall. Were you there at the fall of Last Wall?
Yes, he was.
You were. Oh boy. That's a little bit of the lore that we might in the future go over. The fall of
Yeah.
Last Wall.
Oh. Elias might not know because he's not very knowledgeable about history or geography.
That's right. Now,
I
let
know.
me think.
But just throwing it out.
He's what armor are you wearing?
The armor of last wall.
No, I mean like, is it like chainmail?
Chainmail, yes, with just the livery
Ah.
over top.
Well, Elias does note your chainmail and what you're wearing, and he's very impressed. Just because he's also wearing chainmail.
Seems we need to collect our friend and move on.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Is Farley good to go?
Farley's good to go. He's with you guys currently. He assures you that he's got his spells memorized and he's all set for action. Come, my friends, let's get back there and defeat Belcora.
Perhaps we should leave word for Ramirez that we left.
Well, maybe in like some casual like shopping conversation, Elias will talk to Dain and just mention the trinket and say, bring his story of. Although Elias doesn't know that he was following him, so he's explaining his travels up until this point, despite Dain already knowing. So he's just like, I saw a notice on the board, and we kind of have some downtime. I wouldn't want to leave without Ramirez and a few other party members. Did you want to help me look for this trinket?
I can, and I can imagine shouldn't be too hard to find.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
last you heard was that it was up to the north in the woods, not going towards the Gauntlight, the other direction. If you follow the two roads on the map here to the north, let me scroll up there. Actually both those roads connect together and then cross a bridge. That bridge leads to Absalom. That's the route you would take if you're going to Absalom. Now, the road through the woods is the road that Rin said it was lost off a wagon cart that they were on, somewhere along the passage. If you would like to go up there and, I don't know, walk the path and maybe luck out, maybe use some checks here and there to see what you find, but be aware. The woods are not the safest place to be if you wander too far off the path, especially in the woods. So if you would like to do that, we can do that. I could move you up there and see what happens. It's about mid-morning, right?
I'm game if Elias is.
Yeah, we'll go for a few hours. If we don't find them, then
Okay.
we'll turn back.
Okay, give me a second.
Wouldn't want to keep the others waiting.
So what did you do before you became an adventurer?
It was a rough life, but I was enslaved for most of my childhood.
Dain looks pretty pained by that. Our condolences.
It's all right. If that hadn't have happened to me, I don't think I'd be the same person I am now. And it's pretty much been my entire, purpose in life is to free others. And while I was enslaved, I was enslaved to fight, much like those gladiator games. And I've kind of made it my other purpose in life to, not just free those who have also been bound by others' will, but to kind of make things right by those who passed and, that I've known.
A noble venture.
Thank you.
Mine was pretty simple. I was a soldier.
I thank you for your service.
Thank you. Up north in the region formerly known as Lathwall, it's now called the Gravelands now. It fell. There's nothing we could do to stop it.
Oh, that's terrible.
Lost many good people. Lost almost my entire garrison down to, I think, me and 3 others walked away.
What brings you down here?
Purpose.
I can respect that.
I mean, there's nothing I can do one man against an army of undead to the north, so for now, that has to be let go.
Maybe we can rebuild an army.
Doubt Absalom would be willing to part with their army. I wouldn't want to get these good folk killed.
Well, don't underestimate other people and their willingness and strength in numbers.
Dain chuckles. Men at arms are hard to come by. Even harder to make. If you'd like sometime, I could show you some advanced swordsmanship if you like.
I'm always willing to learn. I would love that. What weapon do you wield?
Longsword. Though I've used quite a few different weapons in my time.
I've used a longsword. It's been a while though. I like this one. It's much lighter and I can wield it, much easier, like an extension of my arm. He wields a rapier.
Rapier.
Yeah, that's
Fine
it, rapier.
Refined weapon, however, I always found it, for myself, it was always too light. Barely felt like I was fighting with anything. Plus, you can't cleave a man with it, so... But you're entirely riddling through holes.
At that.
But you can certainly poke him full of holes if you're quick enough.
I try to be.
Well, we shall see.
And you're having this conversation as you travel to the north?
Yes, that's
Yes.
our walking conversation.
Okay, it's just the two of you. Farley Tell has remained behind. He's things to do. Ramirez has not shown up. Lofter disappeared mysteriously. He does have work at the Otari garrison. But you two have managed to develop your companionship as you wander to the north on the road leading to Absalon, the wooded offshoot of that road, if you look at the map. And you begin to enter the forested part. Now, you all know to be aware, wild animals are aplenty, of course. Boar are common to be encountered here, as are bear and things of that nature. There's also something else you've been warned of, and that is what is described as a large, tall creature, humanoid, with an owl's face covered in feathers. It's huge, and it's dangerous, and some refer to it as an owl bear. Strange mix of creature indeed. Magic, perhaps? Who knows? But there is a price on those creatures. Every pair of ears brings in 10 gold pieces. So be aware of that. That's something you also saw on the board offered for work. And that was offered by the Otari garrison. So that is a definite concern. Beware of owl bears. Anyway,
Might be an extra payday, Elias.
could be. That's quite a bit of coin.
So that's the noise I've been hearing in the dead of night.
Yep. Yeah. Something sneaking around. Some kind of scream.
If we kill them, it might help me
ooh.
sleep a little better.
All right.
Could be
All right.
beneficial for them and for me.
You've made your way about halfway up that side road to the left. I need you guys to make well, I want you to make this will be public. And this will be a perception roll because I'm assuming you're keeping your eyes open. This is like investigation, exploration action as you move up the road. I would
You
like.
watch the left, I'll watch the right.
Yeah, sounds good.
That's just the plan.
Give me a public perception roll. Mm-mm. Ooh, Elias. Ouch.
You bombed that one, Elias.
Totally distracted, staring off into the sky. What a beautiful day. What are we doing? Oh,
I'm
Yes.
distracted by Dane's chainmail.
yeah, that's what it is. All right, let me make a roll here. All right, the first hour of travel up this road, you don't see any clues or anything like that. You occasionally see fellow travelers passing by. Occasional wagons with travelers. You would assume that if something was lost off a wagon, it would probably be in the road or on the side in the gutter. And that's the first place you would look, obviously. If you want to look beyond that, that's up to you. I need you all to roll another perception. You don't notice anything at this point, Dan, even with that fantasticals roll. So go ahead and give me another perception roll. This is the next.
Public?
Yes, public. This is the next hour.
Okay.
Woohoo! Oh, look at that.
Oh, we're like dice twinsies.
I know, right? That's what, the second or third we've tied up on?
Yeah,
And our perception is both +6.
it is.
Oh, excellent.
Expert, wisdom. No modifier for wisdom. Okay.
We're on the same wavelength. Like,
Yep.
hey, did you see that? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and you're looking through and you're paying attention to the sides. Now, is there anything else you would like to do, like wander off a little deeper into the woods, perhaps? Or are you just sticking
I'd
to
like
the
to
road?
go like maybe 10 feet off the road.
All right, so you're dipping off to the left, maybe a little bit deeper
Yeah.
into the wood. How about you, Elias? Anything?
No, I think that's fair. I'm definitely going to stick from the edge of the trail,
Okay.
at least 10 feet in,
All right.
kind of zigzagging my way up.
All right. It's a little slower going here. But the next hour of travel, you don't really notice anything. Let's go for another hour, and you're reaching the top third of that route. You haven't seen anything. No evidence of anything. Let's roll again that perception roll. Let's see how this works out for you. Although this time you are going in a little bit deeper into the woods. All right. No sign of any kind of little shiny trinkets or anything like that. You've been traveling up this road for a few hours now. It's closing in on noon, getting kind of tiring. Nothing is making its appearance. However, Dain, you do notice something unusual on your side of the path. Woods are dangerous, of course. You never know. You got to be aware, cautious of these things. However, two things. Number one, you get a sensation of being watched. Number two, as you step over one particular log, your foot sinks into what looks like some type of web. Some type of spider web, but it's really thick. And then when you start to look up, you look down at your foot, and then you look up from it, and you can see there's strands of this webbing going up into the trees, about 10 foot up, and it's long. Just then you hear some kind of disturbance in the trees itself, like something is moving about. Do you pause? Do you pull your foot away? What do you do?
I think Dane's going to pull his foot away and then sort of keep his hand on his longsword, kind of eyeing this noise.
Your hand is gripping tight to your sword. Your foot begins to pull away. It's stuck. It won't release from this web. And you see then that the very motion of pulling away and then back down and pulling away with your foot is actually shaking the webbing. It looks like you're the one making the noise in the trees because the web actually extends up into the leaves out of sight. It's kind of worrisome, though, because you can't get your foot free. You're going to have to really pull hard, make an athletics check. And before you do that, Elias, you hear something going on to the left there where Dain is. You do anything? Something going on.
I look over. Do I see him struggling?
Yeah, you do. He looks like he's stuck in something, probably mud. Something going on.
Elias is just gonna shout and just double check. Hey, are you okay over there?
Spider web.
Can you get free?
Go ahead and make an athletics check. This can be public.
About to find out.
Let me know if you need any help. That's my specialty.
You yank your
23.
foot. You yank your foot hard and almost tear your boot off, but you manage to keep hold of your boot and you pull out of it, and it just snaps back, and it shakes, and you can see it shaking up into the tree, and all falls to silence.
He's going to give a thumbs up to Elias.
All right, I'll keep looking then.
So will
If
I.
you run into any danger, just holler.
Oh, you'll hear me screaming if I do.
Just then you hear behind you, Dain. You turn abruptly, in fact, when you hear this, but it sounds like something is moving towards you. It sounds like something with a lot of legs. You immediately envision spiders for some reason. You're not sure why. Maybe it was the web. Maybe it wasn't. Who's to say? You turn about and you see nothing. You hear nothing. Might be safe to get off the road or get out of the woods here. I don't know, but that's the thoughts going through your mind. What do you do?
I'll continue in the woods for now. I'll push my luck.
You will. I need you both to make perception rolls public. Make this public because it's fun. Normally this would be totally secret on my end. Go for it. You both notice this. You've gathered together near the one side of the road after hearing this motion. Elias, you hear sounds coming from behind you now, and you turn behind you, peering into the deepness of the woods. You can't see anything in front of you, but then you freeze. And as you look up over your head, there you see it, directly overhead. this huge formation of little tiny spiders. They're all over the place above you, and they seem to be moving closer and closer and closer. And with that, I need initiative from everybody. I'm going to select all of you, and I'm going to change your status. You're being attacked by these little tiny creatures, but there's a lot of them. There is hundreds of them, in fact. And open up your combat trackers, and you are free to roll your initiatives. D20 using perception as default. All right. And with that, Dain, quick reflexes, perception of the situation, allow you to take the first action. You see these spiders. They're hovering close by over Elias in the trees. There's literally hundreds of these little spiders. What do?
I'm gonna start swinging.
All right, you're going to get in close and start swinging. You can do that. You are adjacent to it, so we'll assume you move a couple feet, whatever. It's negligible. And you can attack, unless you want to move to a different position, such as flanking.
I'll stay where I'm at for now, but I'll sort of nudge Elias. Watch out!
Okay. Height-wise, these spiders are actually on level with your head and shoulders, so you don't have to climb trees or they don't have to move down. They're right there, okay? Just so you know, height-wise. And if you're not moving, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Nice.
28. You definitely hit, and you hit massively. Go ahead and roll critical damage on this mass of spiders.
Oh, even
22
better.
damage.
22 damage. Let me double check something. I think they have... what are you using? Your sword?
Longsword, yep.
All right. And
Elias is just in awe, like, oh, wow, good job.
yeah,
It's what I do.
that's what he does. However, what else do you do at this point? We're not out of combat. You've just finished off all this ton of little spiders. You finished them off. Is there anything else you do? You have two more actions.
Can I see if like there's something in the web, like the ring is like in the web or on the spider, or still searching for the ring? Like, is it on one of the spiders or stuck to the web or?
All right, you pause after finishing these creatures and take a look down in front of Elias and at the bodies all the gook and stuff like that. Start looking around for something. You're looking for that little trinket. I'm sure Elias is curious what you're doing, but you don't see anything shiny, nothing that looks like a trinket whatsoever.
Then I will take one step to the right and one step forward. And he's going to look back to Elias. Brace for combat, there will be more.
There we go.
And I think for my last action, I'm going to raise shield.
Okay. Use that macro for that. Excellent. While this is happening, suddenly to your right, something is moving. Something big. Something large. And right at the edge of the wood, the forest, you both catch sight of it. This huge dog-sized spider makes its appearance through the forest canopy. And it's about 10 feet away from you, Dain. You see it too, Elias.
Okay, giant spiders. All right. You ready, Elias?
Hey, as long as I can land a hit on these things, I think we'll be okay.
What's your armor class, Dain?
My armor class right now is 21.
Okay. All right, this creature, as it comes out of the woods, it's mere feet away from you. It pauses just for a second, and it lunges at you. And as it does so, these big, giant fangs protrude from its head, and they sink into your flesh. I need you to make a savings throw, a fortitude savings throw. So go ahead and roll that. Make it public.
Oh.
Right. All right, you're going to take some damage, and this venom is going to sink in. You are going to take...
Can I do my reaction? I don't know where the spider's located, but if it's within 15 feet from me, I can.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had him hidden. Let me reveal him.
Ah.
There he is. Boom. You're going to take 5 points of poison damage, Dain.
Okay.
In addition, you're going to take 7 points of piercing damage as well. You failed your save, so you take also poison damage. So a total of 12 points of damage. And what were you doing, Elias? It's 5, 10, 15 feet away. They're both 15 feet away. You can use your action.
My liberating step.
That's what it is. You can do that.
I thought I dragged it. Oh, I just click it. That's it.
Resistance to all damage equal to 2 plus your level, so that's 4 points of damage. So you're give yourself 4 hit points back, Dain. It's some kind of faith thing. I think I'd go in that direction with it.
Yeah.
Something to do with your faith, and you look at the battle as it unfolds. You see your ally, you see the creature, and it's a combination of your hope and your faith and your belief in your ally withstanding the pain, and just the imagination of it somehow culminates into a reality. So something like that. That's how I describe it.
That sounds good.
That's how I describe it.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be good. Yeah. I
I
can roll with
think that's
that.
a common middle ground for everybody.
Yeah. All right, so that just happened. The spider come out of the woods, tumbling out, and it attacks you with its fangs. You can feel the piercing into your flesh, Dain, right into your arm's flesh, where you tried to block, but instead revealed your forearm, and the fangs just sunk right in you. And moments later, you could feel the searing heat go up your arm and pulsate through your body. You've been poisoned. You feel it. You feel it. And with that, let's see, 1, 2. Well, it's going to bite again. Why not? Let's see if it.
Why not?
Let's see if we get more poison. Ooh, it got a natural 20. Oh no, it did too. I'll show it to you.
I'm screwed.
Dain, you have a shield.
Shield block.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna use shield block on this one.
Despite the 20 knowledge. Nobody wants to get poisoned twice.
Yeah.
I don't know how the poison reacts, if it, makes it go faster or if it's just nothing, but we'll find out.
Let's roll damage here.
And I am using shield block, and my shield has hardness
Okay,
of
hold on.
5.
Let me roll the damage first. You can't see this, of course. That's going to be doubled. Write this down. And then, of course, you're going to have to make another savings throw for me. Go ahead and make a fortitude savings throw.
Nope, I'm spending a hero point on that one.
Go ahead.
Much better.
Much better. There you go. I believe this is a basic save. Let me look up and see. You're going to take 21 points of damage, piercing. And you're going to use shield block. What's your hardness?
Yeah.
10?
5.
5? Okay. 16 points of damage divided between your shield and you. So it's 8 to the shield and 8 to you. You record that 8 hit points of damage on your shield on your character sheet. I think it's broken at 10. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
BT of 10.
I've got 20 HP on the shield, and it breaks at 10.
Yeah, you just blocked that attack with your shield, and boy, did it you a number on your shield. And unless there's...
Beats taking that. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it was. And that's it. It's going to go to Elias. Here's your chance to take action. What do you do?
Aha!
You hear the
I'm gonna
screams
get
of
right
Dain.
around that sucker.
Okay. The woods is actually going to be... No, it's not going to be difficult ground because you're on the edge, and what you're looking at on the map is the canopy, not necessarily the undergrowth, which isn't too bad, actually. So you can slip around there without moving into difficult ground. Yeah, I see where you're going. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, you're now flanking. Creature is now considered flat-footed.
And I shall strike him. But first, I take out my weapon.
Yeah,
because it was not out. So
Wow.
with my last action, I'll strike. Tried stabbing it, and I rolled a... Well, in total, I got a 13.
13 will not do it as it must have been your motion trying to get in a position. You were focused too much on that. The blade swings wide. You're not able to connect with this horrible creature. The size of a giant dog. Legs everywhere. Screams. Dain starts screaming. I hate spiders. I can't stand
They're our
them."
screams.
Yeah.
And start screaming as the poison rips through him. Oh, well, you kill this thing so we can go get this taken care of. Please and thank you.
All right. You're up. Dain.
Yeah, first attack. Well, first I'm going to attack. Welcome to my dice, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my dice. 13 on the first attack.
Nada. You swing wide.
I think I'm going to use Exacting Strike.
You make a controlled attack, fully accounting for your momentum. Make a strike. The strike gains the following failure effect. Failure. This attack does not count towards your multiple attack penalty, so you could ignore it. Make a strike. The strike gains the following failure. Yeah. Before you make the attack, your attack gains the following failure effect. So if you do
Okay.
fail, it doesn't count towards your multiple attack. In other words, it doesn't count as your, in this case, first attack. You would ignore it.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
for fun, I'll let you use this now. I'll assume that you called this out, then made your attack. It failed, but it doesn't count as an attack for the multi-attack penalty. So you could make your second attack as if it was your first.
Okay.
All right, that's what that does.
That's what we're going to do.
Okay. All right, so 12. That unfortunately does fail, and that does
I'm so
count
going
as
to
your
die. I
first.
told you I was going to die.
All right, so you can attack a third time, and it'll count as your second.
Yep.
Or do you want to raise your shield?
Or raise your shield.
Shield's broke at this point.
Broken, not destroyed. Oh,
Finally.
What did you get?
23.
Ooh. You need to leave my spiders alone. You did normal damage. Go ahead and roll that. Slashing. 8 points of slashing damage on this poor little spider. Terrible. Let's see what that looks like. There you go. Badly injured. Ooh, starts coming out of its torso. You struck it hard and you struck it accurate. There you go. Next is going to be the spider, who's currently flat-footed, wants to get out of this situation. You are a fighter, but it doesn't know that.
I am a fighter, so if he moves, I get an extra attack.
It's going to 5-foot step.
Now, doesn't that provoke attack of opportunity?
Not if it's a 5-foot
If it's
step.
yeah, if it's a step.
So while it watches you and it's got its eyes and it has many on you, it backs away carefully and gets itself into a position around Elias where it's able to attack, and it does so. It's going to be fangs once again. Feel the fangs, Elias, with a 28. Which hits your armor class, almost critical, hitting you. All right. You're going to have to make a fortitude save. Go ahead and make that. Oh, I forgot. Elias is poisoned too. He's got to make a check.
Well, that would be my fortitude save if I fail.
Yeah.
I'm not currently poisoned. Yet.
I'm thinking of Dain.
Do I need to roll another one there?
In a second. Hold on. All right. So, excellent roll. The power of Caden is upon you. You have not been poisoned, but you do take damage. That could be dangerous. As the fangs sink deep into you. 8 points of piercing damage. You let out a scream and a howl. Ah! Dastardly creature. Dain, I also need you to make another savings throw. Fortitude.
$19.
Okay, you're all right. Let me double check. Oh, you were also flat-footed, by the way, from that poison. Anyway, yeah, you're okay. The poison works its way out of your system. You feel a lot better at the moment. In the meantime, Elias, you took your damage, correct?
I did, yes.
All right.
You said 8 damage, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's going to attack a second time Elias. Again, with the fangs. 12. That's not going to hit your armor class. Okay, so that you deflected that attack. It tries to sink its fangs once again into you. This time in your leg, your open thigh. No! It misses just in time. Elias, you're next. This creature is coming down hard upon you. This big dog-sized spider. It's dripping ooze out of its side thanks to Dain's careful strike with his sword. You're up next. How do you react? It's aggressively attacking you. It doesn't look like it's in good shape. You might be able to finish it off.
I'm going to strike back.
Ooh. That hits deeply. Critical damage.
Huh?
Let's see, this will be your first critical, won't it?
Yeah.
Critical hit.
I can just hit the critical.
Yep.
and then
double
it'll
it for
roll.
you.
Uh-huh.
$15 points of damage. Darn it. Killed my spider. Describe how you fell this arachnid.
Did you just say you want me to describe it?
I want you to describe how you finished this creature off.
With finesse, of course. Well, first he's just gonna, I don't know, he would just try to cut off the legs and immobilize it, if anything. You don't need those extra legs. And he just gives it a good whack and then kind of thrusts it into its face.
Ooh, nice.
It's big. Figures you can't miss. Sure death.
Dain, you see the creature pull away from you, and it nimbly moves into position to attack Elias. And she got bit, but it was going aggressively at her, but Elias held firm with her shield and her sword in hand. She spins around a few times, and you see her hacking away, legs. One leg is gone, 2 legs, 3 legs, and with a final strike, she comes down hard on its head, and it just pierces the top of its, what would be a skull. And the thing, you can hear it go, and this ooze, green ooze, comes out of its body, and it's pinned to the earth, and it suddenly goes motionless.
He smiles and he looks at Dain.
There you go.
Dain will chuckle. Oh, well done, and he'll move over to much like they did with the crowbars. He'll offer his sort of almost like a toast.
Ching.
That's
Yeah,
the meme now.
Clink.
Fantastic. Excellent. You finished him off with a critical, too.
Nice.
All right.
Well, I think we need to head back to town and get ready for the others, and I need to get this shield repaired.
Yeah. Maybe we should go in for a good nap before they before we all meet up too. We're looking a little rough.
Indeed, they will definitely need to. It will be some time before they get to us. God knows what Ramirez is doing or who he's doing at this point.
Oh, wow. All right, as you prepare yourself and wipe the sweat from your brow, Elias, you pull your sword from the spider and torso. And as you do so, suddenly you hear the sound of a metal, a little ching from your blade. You look down at the spider's carcass, and there you see what looks like a chain. This golden chain shape dangles outside of the wound that you laid into this beast. Do you reach down and take a look?
Yeah, I reach in there. What did I find?
You reach down with eagerness, and you reach down, and it looks like some type of golden necklace, and it's long. It must be at least a foot long, and at the very end, you see this little pendant, this little trinket, if you will, dangling from the bottom of it, and it's in the shape of a moon surrounded by stars.
Did we get a description of what the necklace looks like, or other than it's a metal necklace?
It is a metal necklace of a moon with stars.
Oh. I hold it up and I show Dain. I think this is what we're looking for.
Well, I'll be. I had a suspicion. He completed a line out his ass right now.
Yeah.
So we found what we came for after all. At least the wounds were worth it.
Yes, sir, indeed.
Before heading back, though, Elias is going to lay on hands with Dain, just to make sure that he's got some hit points before the long journey back, just in case.
All right, Dain, add 6 points of hit points.
Okay.
To your character. All right. Boy, what a day. You sheathe your weapons, you leave the carcass behind on the side of the path, and you make your way south. It seems you might have indeed found what you'd come looking for. Although you were far away, you're another few hours from outside of Otari. It's a long trek back. You keep your eyes peeled on the sides of the road in case more spiders make their way back. But after a couple hours, you don't see anything more, and you do see a few travelers that pass by you, and you mention, "Be careful, my friends. Spiders, arachnids are about." They heed your advice and continue on their way. Eventually, you find your way back in Otari itself. It's well past noon at this point. You're tired, you're worn. A good fight was had, and you make your way back to Rin Savixi, ever curious about this talisman that you might have just found. Turns out, once you get back to Rin Savixi's, that yes, indeed, you found her lost talisman. You described to her, I imagine, how it was found and what you had to go through to get that. You got yourself some reward, Elias, as well as Dain. You got yourself some coin, and she's so happy that you returned it. I have to go through my notes. What was the offer? Did you make a note of that?
10 gold.
Well, that was for the other thing.
Yeah. I think this was...
No, I didn't make a note of it only because we had like surely and definitely decided to go to the main quest instead.
She gives you each 3 gold pieces. So you each get 3 gold pieces for this. She's really, really surprised you managed to find that. And very exceedingly happy. She says, "Oh, my friends, this was an heirloom in my family. Long ago, many years before I come here, I lost this on my way to Otari. Somehow you managed to find this." That was really lucky you found that, honestly. I was rolling my oracles here to see what was going to transpire with this. And yeah, fate was on your side, my friends. So
That was a
congratulations.
good
for
fight.
that. Yeah, it was fun. Okay, so you're back in Otari now. You've got a reward. You found that little trinket, and it's about mid-afternoon. It's kind of, if you do head back to Otari now, which you could do in the next session, it's going to be closing in on dark, which you'll have to make preparation for. I'll let you guys discuss that in the next session, where we go next.